Are we ripping and rolling? Are we Facebooking and YouTubing and we're doing? Are we still on YouTube? All right, or what's? Do we have our 1,000 people or?
Yes, sir. I guess.
Excellent. Well, again, if you hi, all right, look out! It's only me. It's only the Kimmer, the new Kimmer, the happy, non-grumpy Kimmer, here on the old Kimmer Show podcast with what's that? With Pete Davis, producer, sidekick. Grouch detector and sports raconteur extraordinaire. I went to Holy Crap at Sports, I'm guessing tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
And you did one yesterday?
Yes, I've done 2 already this week. Back on a kind of a regular schedule.
Okay,
right
all right. It's Holy Crap at Sports is the best podcast and sportscast. And the mechanical angler flounder at the controls. You're at El Condo Flounder with Lucas the Podcat. I don't know where he's somewhere around here. He's walking around.
We have 1,005 people.
Well, we need more. If you could do this, go to thekimmershow.net. And if you look for the YouTube rippity-bippity, click the rippity-bippity, and then where it says subscribe, hit the subscribe, and then you're done. No money, it's free. You don't have to do anything else. They won't bother you. It just clicks on numbers of people, and they may actually lead to us being able to keep doing this ridiculous podcast. Well, anyway, well, so we got thank yous, we got stuff. Let me just give you kind of a quick rundown. The home search, a Kroger experience, looking for cereal, thank you letters, a little Venmo, such and a other. We also, of course, have the LSU co-ed drunken kill story. Honest, the guy with 2 daughters. Well, anyway, we'll get to that. Also, MILF Island TV stuff. Swalwell, it says they're trying to kill him. Swalwell actually accuses the Speaker of the House of trying to have him assassinated. Swear to God.
They're insane.
I mean, anyway, we'll talk liberal politics, woke Disney, racist Hollywood. Pete's got some elevator doodad stories, a movie you can cry to. You're going to hear why a robot AI device has passed the test to be a doctor. Passed the medical exam.
I'm going to give you a story where AI fails.
Even better. Also, and a happy story. We'll do a couple of history things, and then we'll do a happy story of a little doggy who has a home. And it's just we'll do some stuff. First of all, let us begin the actual program here on Happy Day. Yes.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Has a question.
All righty. My God, man. I haven't even offended anybody yet.
The non-grumpy Kimmer.
Yeah.
Yay! How long will it last?
Hey, how about eat me? How about that?
And Cindy replied, I bet 5 minutes.
Well, see, there you go. Well, all right. Well, let's start with it. Let me start with a quick thing.
Let's do it.
First of all, I'm going to.
That's what she said.
Nope, I'm going to say. Just give me one quick thing. And by the way, I can't help if you're married and you love your wife and you know whatever she may not be as whatever as you are, but if you love your wife when you're on vacation, I promise you the greatest thing in the world is you fly down to Cancun or whatever it was, or Costa Rica someplace.
If you want to die.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. You don't go there. I'll never go to Mexico again. No. In fact, they've even put an alert out for Cancun.
Would you see?
Literally.
They went into the resort. They went to a 3rd level walkway that was open, exposed, that everyone could see, and killed somebody.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's and I remember the time with my final wife, and we would fly to Cancun. I mean, a couple times a year, usually in the summertime when nobody's there because it's too hot, and you get a $600 a night hotel room for $200 on the beach, great stuff. And we would take buses into town. We rent a car and drive into the Sunset Beach over the mountains. We did it. It was unbelievable. Never thought for a minute about being in danger.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Anyway, now what the hell was I talking about Cancun?
Doing something with your wife somewhere.
So when you're flying, okay, you're on your trip, you're all excited, you're flying in the plane, you get to the thing, you go through customs, you get in the cab, you get to your hotel, you finally get to the hotel, you throw her on the bed and make love to her like she's never gonna forget it. The first thing you do, and now you're ready for your vacation.
She's all hot and sweaty, wants to take a shower.
Exactly. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry. But I wasn't grumpy.
No, you
weren't.
bastard.
All right, now a couple quick thank yous here. Let's see.
We should put you on Prozac or something.
That's what I need is drugs. Yeah,
Xanax. The ones that make you feel good all the time.
I need something. In fact, I thought about. Well, remind me. Remind me to do an OnlyFans possibility thing.
I have an OnlyFans story. Do we have the same story?
I'll bet it's the same one, but I was just going to refer to it. You can do it. You should do it.
It's probably 2 different.
The teacher.
No.
Oh, well, we got 2 then. Well, I have just a mini. Anyway, whatever. A quick thank you. Again, if you want to help us out, you can go to the Kimmer Show Kimmer Media post office box. First of all, Venmo. And Venmo is very easy. You put your phone up there, hold the camera thing to it, it'll click on, then it'll tell you what to do. Our very good friend Denise sent us another wonderful donation. Fernando, Mark, Wade paid us money. He says Rainy Day Theater or Johnny Midnight. Let's hear your talented mind at work over birthdays of people we all hate. Greg sent us our latest Venmo this morning, and he sent us a number divisible by 3 and a big number, by the way.
Thank you.
And he says, because it's cheaper than eggs. And by the way, have you seen all the memes of, a guy broke an egg in his kitchen and he's calling the insurance company? They'll be there in a week, to analyze how much it cost you.
The claim adjuster showing up.
Yeah, I mean, it's he went to Kroger, with a negative. I mean, it's just, and it's perfect because it's. I was in the store the other day looking at those cereal things. $8 for a carton of eggs.
I know.
Well, wasn't it like $1.80 or something?
If this was Trump, it'd be every story every night. Why aren't you doing something about this?
Look at these prices, ladies and gentlemen. This is Trump's fault.
Yes, exactly.
Instead,
you don't hear a word about it on the news.
President Stupid at the opposite is addressing people today, saying how the economy's rebounding and doing great. As we speak, he's addressing people today with his economic message of how wonderful we are here in America. Thank God we have Democratic leadership. I swear I'm not making that up. He calls Republicans decrepit investors or something ridiculous. I mean, just mentally deficient investment people. Anyway, I have no idea what he's talking about there.
Well, we have good audio of him later about how he still can't remember anything.
Oh, yeah. Is that the name thing with this?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, here we go again.
Do it now if you want.
Well...
you want to wait? Go ahead.
We'll probably get into newsy stuff in a little bit.
2 minutes.
Yeah,
and again, I'm on the non-grumpy trail. I want to continue. Yes.
Scotty says he prefers the grumpy.
Well, you might get your wish, Scotty. First of all, a couple of thank yous from our buddy Michael in Sharpsburg. Says, I hope all goes well. Please continue and God bless. Rick greatly enjoyed the podcat jumping on Kimmer's desk during the podcast, which I think is pretty cool too. Also, we got a very nice note here. That was from Michael. And a very nice note from our hot babe, double Y Cindy. Double Y, not Y. It's a double Y.
For a second
two
there.
Ys. With two Ys.
Double Y.
The 2 Ys, Cindy. She's 2 Ys for her own good. That's even better. Want to share the happiness of the birth of January 10th of my 5th grandchild, a beautiful girl named Amaya. Stay healthy. She's a future Kimmer babe. How cool is that? We have the best people. We have the best listeners. Yep. And she attacks me all the time. But again, she's saving the granddaughter for the Kimmer babe. So there you are. And one more, a couple of quick updates. And I know you don't want to hear this, and I can understand that, and it's da-da-da-da. However, remember the other day we were talking about how I got a bill in the mail from a company called CFS. And I showed the piece of paper, put it on the internet, and it's an official-looking document, and it says safety manual, order form, workplace safety. Government requires every company our podcast. Send us money, we'll send you a thing. And I did it once last year by mistake, and then I get a bunch of them again, and I thought this was a fake. Well, there's another one. There's a new one. I put this on the internet. I eventually took it off. And it's a company called CPS instead of CFS. And instead of $170 for your yearly assistance, they want $295 for it.
You did the other one.
It's the same fraud people. And again, the problem is they're not lying. They're saying we are not, in teeny print, we are not a government agency. But then it says you're required to have these forms. You have to do it now, and we're doing it every month. So it looks like you better put this in with your money.
Is there a phone number?
Oh, I don't know if there's a phone number, but there is a. Well, I'll show you. Here's the address. And what I did. No. Oh yeah. It's for further assistance. I'm not calling it, but there's a number. You want to call it? And by the way, I went to our. I remember last week we got a message from our Norris Legal Company, which represents the podcast, and so I got back in touch with a girl at the law firm, and she said, "Oh my God, we didn't know there was a second one." So I videoed that and sent that to her too, and they're going to try to crack down on it. The problem is there's a little teeny line that says we are not a government agency, and it doesn't say if you don't do this you're in trouble. It just says you need to do this. And of course, you can just say, we have a safety plan. Okay, we've just covered our safety plan. But again, a scan. And by the way, I got people telling me, let's see, the fake agency. CFS. James said, Kimmer, companies are posing as collectors are working overtime. I just went 15 rounds with Stallings Financial Group. No proof I owed them anything. So mad I could chew barbed wire. Scott says, I get that crap all the time. Hard to tell what's real. That was the problem. And Bud says, death to scammers.
Yes.
But honest to God, I wish I could. In fact, I sent a note to Norris Legal and saying, how can I hurt them? Can I go get them? Can I, attack them? I suppose arson's out of the question. Anyway, so that's, but
nothing is out of the question.
And they're making a fortune. They got me. Because, what do I know about running a business? I get a form in the mail that says, oh, my God, I have to do this. It's $170. I'll send it in. It was last year.
Anything bad that happens to these people, they deserve.
Absolutely. They're taking your money. They're taking our money. That was our money.
Yeah,
and we're not having it. We don't have any anyway. So we're making less than minimum wage by a mile.
Give me the credit card, you dumbass.
All right, now
Kimmer giving away our money.
Yes.
Brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets. Enough to put in a closet. ClosetPro.net 404-255-0589. That's 404-255-0589. Or go to ClosetPro.net. The ladies love closets. Atlanta Custom Closets. I love closets. Who doesn't like a good walk-in closet?
Happy wife, happy life. This is true, and it sounds like a chauvinistic thing, but I guarantee you, it works, and she'll love it.
Somebody posted a video. They got inside Kenny Rogers' mansion, which it looks like it's abandoned.
Over in Athens, wherever it was,
somewhere
over there.
And he's walking through Kenny's wife's closet.
Yeah.
It was like walking through.
It's like a home, yeah.
It's bigger. It's bigger than this apartment.
I'll bet. Yeah.
I'm not in his room after room after room after room.
Yeah. Well, when we built our house, my final wife and I told her, I was like an idiot, you can do anything you want. So she did. And they had, talk about closets. Holy crap-a-rooney. But anyway, whatever, make her happy.
Someone was making...
Unfortunately, I think of my happy wife, happy... No, that's horseshit. Okay, one more thing here with me. We're going to talk about Pete. What's the matter?
Brian, here it comes.
No, in fact, I can prove just the opposite. This morning on the way here, I didn't have any money. I needed 20, 30, whatever it was, money in my pocket to happen to go through the week. So I stopped and I wanted to put a deposit for a couple of donations in the bank. So first I went to the drive-through, and there were two drive-through aisles, okay? Drive-through from your car at the thing. Okay, so I went to the one on the left. They were both empty, so I just went to one on the left, and it said, out of service. Oh, great. Now, they don't even have drive-through to go do your banking. Yes. Now they don't even have the ATM drive-through. So I said, well, what the hell? Maybe the other one works. I didn't know. So, I thought instead of just leaving and going somewhere else, I said, hell, I'll back up and go to the other one. So I back up, and as I'm backing up and I start to turn to go into the right-hand one, a guy cuts me off.
Oh, yeah.
And goes into the line. Yeah. And, of course, it's open.
Of course.
Yeah. So I got out of my car. And I went up to the gentleman's window and I said, hi, I just wanted to tell you how happy I am that I could be of service to you to make you feel better about taking advantage of an opportunity that most of us really would not be able to take advantage of because we'd be a little too, guilty about offending someone, cutting them off to try to get something for your own benefit instead of someone else's, a courtesy thing. But I'm so glad that obviously you're going to have a happier day because you got me, and therefore you can go around saying, I'm better than that guy, I'm better than that guy. So I wanted to salute you and thank you for allowing me to give you the opportunity to have you feel better. If that isn't giving, what the hell? My father was a giver. He would be so proud of this attitude. Anyway, all right. Enough about me. Let's not talk about me.
Listeners, I'm going to quote a line from the movie The Hobbit when they let the dragon loose to kill everybody. My God, what have we done?
Unveil the Kraken. I don't even know. But first, Pete Davis. Home searching. How are we doing?
Okay, I'd found this great home up there off Bell's Ferry. God, it was a perfect neighborhood. It was like Leave It to Beaver.
75, right?
Leave It to Beaver neighborhood. Just everyone immaculately. It was perfect. And they said, okay, well, it's not really available until February 8th, so you have to wait to watch it on February 8th.
Yeah.
And then 40 minutes later, it said, it's no longer for rent. Which means the real estate person had a family member or somebody who liked it, and they just let them do it.
Oh man.
So that kind of throws.
Now the only thing about
thing.
75, maybe the worst of the.
Oh,
of
I'm not going
all
to use
the
75. I'm not going anywhere near
Okay,
75. I'm going the other way.
Again,
I'm going north.
That was my immediate. Well, when you have to come down here or whatever.
No, I'm never coming down
Okay,
here.
well that's fine. Well, of course, yeah, we're not going. This isn't going to work. So why we won't be coming here anymore anyway? So
I'm not really
I'm
banking
going to see
on
the
this.
cat. You know. How's Lucas doing? I don't know. Anyway.
So anyway,
Yeah.
So I came down 2 days ago, because I met the State Farm lady. Wonderful
For
woman.
your damage to the water damage at your apartment,
Took
which is
3
why
weeks.
you're looking for a house.
3
Yeah.
weeks to get there to look at it. Right. We walk.
You've been living with your sister. For those who haven't caught up. Okay.
Yes, we get in there.
Yeah.
Mr. Help.
Well, I'm just,
I
people
know.
don't know what you're
You're
talking
filling
about.
in the blanks.
Well, people don't know what you're talking about. Why are you looking for
we
a
have the
house?
same 50 people every day.
I'm
so they know
just saying.
exactly.
There are more than 50 people listening.
All right, stop fighting.
Oh, my God.
All right, so anyway, so I
fine.
walk in with the adjuster. There are 500 Mexicans in my former apartment, all working feverishly.
Yeah,
They've
they
torn.
do that.
It's gone. The apartment is gutted. Gone. Nothing's in there. And it was like,
'Cause of mold and
holy-
mildew. They
oh,
can't leave
yeah.
it in the walls.
They destroyed everything. And the lady's going, I said, do you need to see the storage unit? She goes, not really. I said, well, we're walking by. Just stick your head in there. So I went in there. I had left a pile of cardboard boxes and crap that I was planning on going back and cleaning up. They had cleaned it all up. They had taken
Oh,
it
so
all
she said, well, there's no damage here.
No. She went in there. There's mold everywhere, all up and down the wall.
That's deadly.
And she
It'll
just
kill you.
looked at it, and she took photos when she didn't have to. And then she looked at me and goes, I don't think there's going to be much of a problem with your claim.
I wouldn't think so.
No. So then I go, well, I'm down here. I'll go get my prescription. It says my Kroger. It
Yeah.
says all your prescriptions are ready. All
There.
3, whatever.
There you are.
So I go there. The guy says, you only got one. I go,
Um,
only got one? He goes, yeah, there's only one here. I said, okay, fine. I get it. 40 minutes later, I'm almost back to Canton.
yeah. Guess
Ding,
what?
the phone goes off. Your prescription's ready.
You can have them transfer it to any Kroger.
Well, the problem is I don't know where I'm living, so if you transfer it more than once, they're going to lose them all. You
Oh,
transferring
Jesus.
it once,
Yeah,
they
you know,
lose
yeah,
them.
I guess
But
probably.
twice. So anyway, so I drive back today, 2 days later, and I go up to the counter and I said, yeah, I got a thing. He goes, you don't have any prescriptions ready. I said, well, why did I get this? He goes, oh, well, the system's not perfect. It was probably a glitch. They were probably just giving you the warning. So they gave me the warning for the one I'd already picked up. Yeah. So I go, you're lucky I didn't drive all the way down here for that, because I had to get my key. I had to turn my keys in, so I had to go in there. And I got to say, so far, the Arches at Glen Ridge was where I was staying, have been nothing but princes about this. I mean,
Really?
they terminated the lease. They're getting me a refund on the water. They did a lot of stuff. They went extra. They
Good.
let me keep the storage thing, and I don't even think they're going to charge me for that next month.
Wow.
And so I got to say, while they can't handle freezing temperatures
Yeah,
very
yeah,
well,
no,
they've
busted
been
pipes.
as a management company, they've been amazing since it's happened.
Yeah. Well, it's good.
Well,
since
I'm
that guy,
wondering if they've had to deal with this a lot, considering, like you were saying, it's a 100-year storm or whatever, or for the insurance company. So I'm sure they want to make a lot of people.
I do believe they were
people happy.
negligent in not making sure all the water was turned on. They
So-
trusted everybody, and they didn't go around. I don't think they were there over the Christmas weekend, and that's why the water broke and just went for 3 hours because there was nobody there. So I think that was a little negligent. But since then, they've been nice. Now, whether we still have problems in the future, we'll know about that. But State Farm gives me trouble, which they shouldn't. But
Well, so the search goes on for
Search
looking for
goes on.
you need a house and covered parking or a garage.
I found a townhouse
Yeah.
off Hembry Road up in Alpharetta.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Yeah, right up there on the other side of Ameris Amphitheater. And I go over there. I was going to meet a woman. I said, well, I'm early. I'll just go over there and look at it before she shows up. Okay, there's one entrance to get into behind the building to park in the
Yeah.
2-car garage, right?
Okay.
There was a pothole so large, I couldn't get my car through it. And I'm thinking, all
Oh, my
right,
God.
they're showing this to people, and there's a hole so big you can't get your car unless if you had a truck you could get through. My car's not going through that. Your car wouldn't
Oh,
go
my
through
God.
it. So I'm going, nah.
Did you tell her, hey, look, I'd like
No,
to see
I
it.
just canceled the thing. I said, if you guys can't figure that out, that's your problem.
Oh my God! Did it say what the cost was? I'm just curious. At renting somebody's townhouse.
It was like $1,800.
Wow, that's not bad for
But it
those.
was a huge.
Oh, they're
huge
big. I mean, that's
townhouse.
where I live. I live 500 yards from where you're talking about. I'm over the hill, going down
Through
like
the dale?
Encore Parkway or whatever. And yeah, I know where that is. Yeah.
Just why I went on the other side.
And I really like the. I've lived in obviously houses and apartments and townhouses, and I like the townhouse better than the apartments because there's nobody above or below you. And I haven't heard a thing from my neighbors in 10 years almost. So it's really well built. So anyway,
take your lights down.
Well, yeah, they complain
Christmas
about it. Yeah,
loving
HOAs are a bunch of assholes. A couple things. We have newsy things. You want to do a couple more things here? Just a quick thank you. We got a letter from a guy named Chuck S., his last name, and he said, out of the blue, he said he was searching and he used the words, "we suck and blither." He was doing a search of something or other and used the phrase, "we suck and blither." And when he hit the word blither, my name popped up.
Yeah.
From when I used to use the phrase "we suck and blither" back when I was on the radio, and he said, "Oh my God!" He said, "I can't believe." He said, "I didn't know you were still around. You're doing a podcast." He said, "That's great. Now we're going to start listening and donating and everything else in Oregon," and he's in Oregon. And so anyway, thank you,
Yeah,
Chuck.
you're the when you Google "we suck and blither," there's some videos, but the first one is Kim Peterson Wikipedia.
That's
I'll be
amazing.
damned.
Speaking of WSB, do you see their ratings?
Yeah, they're sucking gone. I mean,
dropping.
again, this is amazing.
How? Well, listen.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you the difference.
They go down the middle. They take no.
Well, they're
It's not entertaining.
Well, I don't know. We want to talk
It's
about
not
the history
informative.
of WSB.
It's not entertaining.
No,
It's
let's
none
not
of
go
them.
there. Everyone does. They get ratings because
You know
of their
what's happened.
signal.
Yeah, they've been the state. When I came here in 1972, worked at WSB, they had a 50 share. I mean, everybody, period. Listen to that. Anyway, so whatever. But they've lost everything because they've lost their sense of direction, and they're too cowardly to have people go on the air to say things that'll make people, think about it.
I think that's going to change since our old boss, Ken Charles, is there. He's probably going to make some moves.
Well, he knows we're available, and I haven't had a phone call of you.
Yeah, we haven't got.
Yeah, well, he's not going to hire you. It's
Ken's
me.
a good guy, but maybe
He's a good guy, but he's not going to hire me.
good.
It's I guarantee
Well, they're not going
you.
to hire us over there because you.
Yeah, I know. Right. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, more happy reactions, more happy talk things here quickly. As you know, I've had some issues with my ear rockets. Okay. So once again, I spent my off time yesterday at the doctor's office. I love having a day off and spending it every week in the doctor's office, which is good because I'm happy and they like me and we all have fun. So it's kind of a happy experience. So Dr. Carly, who's this very sweet lady doctor, goes on the computer. She does all the things, got everything else to go, and so and everything's working. I had to download a new app through the computer to wherever she was talking to on the phone with the computer, but everything works. And by the way, just a consumer tip: if you're getting hearing aids and you have a choice, I'm suggesting not to get the brand Signia. Bye, Lucas. You've been bad. The brand Signia is one that I had nothing but trouble with, and the doctor says she doesn't normally recommend these, but Humana gave me no choice. They assigned me this brand. So for the record, and again, I happily say this to you to give you an option. If you have a choice against Signia, their one's been giving me nothing but trouble. But now she adjusted the tone and the quality and everything, and it's much better than it was. Also. And I also got a message on my iPhone, and it says, "Ready for an update? Just leave your phone plugged in when you go to bed tonight." Well, those. I assume you get those too.
I got it.
Now, when you get that notice, do you always do it?
Yes.
You always get the update?
Because most of the time they'll do it for you if you don't after a while.
Well, now in the past I've always done it, and then the last couple of times, the last time I did it, they changed so many things that it was hard finding stuff. I really got,
This one I didn't notice any difference.
Well, boy, I did. So I did the update. No. It's a happy update. A very happy update. First of all, in fact, I'll just show you. All of a sudden now, I did the update. All of a sudden now, I have what's called Game Changer by Dick's Sporting Goods. Create account, sign in, or explore scorekeeping. What the hell is that?
I've got something called Freeform, which lets me draw doodles and everything. It's pretty cool.
I didn't ask for that.
Yeah, zap it, get rid of it.
How do you do that? I don't know how you get rid of it.
You just delete it. Go back to hold your finger on it.
All right.
Now it'll tell you right there.
Delete. App. Oh, okay. I got delete app. Oh, I didn't know that.
It's gone.
Delete. I'll be damned. Also, they gave me a new one called where the hell is it?
That Freeform's pretty fun.
Pages.
No. Pages is what I use to write my books. It's like Word.
It says no recent documents open will appear here.
It's like Microsoft Word. If you want to write something, a book, a pamphlet, or a story.
If I hit the search line, what is that supposed to do? Bring up my old things if I had any in there?
If you had any in there, yeah. That's how I write on it.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm not obviously don't use that. But anyways, all right, so I got that. And I also got iTunes, a new iTunes thing. and I also got a some kind of an exercise
Good Lord.
app. I don't know where this came from. To keep track of fitness. It's a big, a big.
Oh, yeah,
See
I
your
got that
activity.
too.
Learn about fitness. Share with others. I don't want to.
That's pretty good. It counts your steps for you and all kinds of stuff.
Well,
yeah.
anyway, but again, where did this all come from? And now the other thing
Because
was
you got, I assume you either got a new phone or did an update.
Update.
It was
Yeah,
an
so
update.
a lot
yeah.
of times when you get updates, it puts updated free apps that are more helpful and informative,
I
like
gotcha.
Pages. You can take
That's what
notes
they
and
did,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So it's just updated apps.
Yeah, but again, I just did it, and now I've got all this all this stuff on my silly phone, which is fine. I'm very, very happy about it. A couple of things. It changed the size of the letters. When I see the size of the time on the faceplate, that's like 5 times the size it used to be. I don't know what happened.
They know your age. Cindy says, Kimmer learned something new. Brought to you by FarmhousePrintingCo.com.
There you are.
Right here in Sonoya, Georgia. They got custom shirts and hats and signs and promotional items. They do all the Kimmer Show and Holy Crap at Sports and Shannon Burke and everybody that's anybody. No minimum order, no setup fees. It means you could order 1 or 1,000. They got laser engraving. If you want to bring your chicken down there and engrave your initials in it so no one steals your chickens right now,
There you
that's
are.
the place to go. FarmhousePrintingCo.com.
In fact, if you look at the podcast, Lucas' podcast blanket and the stuff we did for Christmas, you can see the quality is remarkable.
Still owe somebody a tumbler. I'm going to get it to you as soon as I find them. They're packed up.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, let's see. We got a newsy. The LSU bar girl story is just driving me nuts. Also, you're going to hear some incredible sound bites of Kevin McCarthy, and Swalwell, and Biden, and a couple of historical names of sleaziness from the past. We got all that soundbite coming up here. A quick thing. I put a video the other day. I was at the store. Remember we talked about how I never eat cereal. I mean, I think as a little kid, I never. My mother would, a family of 7, and she would make breakfast with scrambled eggs or eggs over the way you wanted them, and farina and oatmeal, and I mean, it was incredible. Never had cereal. I mean, I've had it, but I wasn't, routine. So the other day I'm at the store, and I said, what? I used to remember like 40 years ago, once in a while I would have a snack of a bowl of cereal, a little sugar in it, and something sugary and just kind of a sweet thing, better than a candy bar, but it still was kind of a small snack with some milk, and everything was happy. Well, I said maybe that might be fun. So I went to the store and took the video. Holy mackerel! I mean, I don't normally shop for cereal, so I kind of had forgotten what's going on. I mean, there must have been 20 different kinds of Cheerios.
Yeah.
I mean, there was strawberry shortcake flakes. I swear to God. I mean, I've seen the strawberry mini wheats, which I like. I've had those, 20 years ago. But they had strawberry shortcake flakes. They have chocolate peanut butter Cheerios. I mean, it was it's the damnedest thing I ever saw. And I got one note from one guy who said, Kimmer, I was kind of disappointed because I didn't see your hidden Easter egg in the video at the supermarket. Actually have some kind of gun thing. I said, I wasn't going to whip it out at a grocery store, too many people around.
Or the gun.
The gun. Or the gun.
Or the gun. So you know what I had for breakfast?
What'd you have for breakfast?
My future brother-in-law is a hell of a cook. He's in the Army his whole life, Special Forces and all that, and has learned to cook. He made, it's a breakfast cobbler. It literally was, there's eggs, French toast, pastry filling, and
in one thing?
And on top of it were berries, all a bunch of berries. And you dig in, it's like a cobbler, but it tastes like you're eating breakfast. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I don't think I understand.
It's like a cobbler, like a breakfast
and
cobbler.
Is it scrambled eggs?
Yeah, the eggs are mixed in, and it's French toast and everything like that, but it's kind of like a cobbler.
I guess I don't see what
But
that
oh my God, and he puts maple syrup on it, and it was unbelievable.
Was it baked? So it's hearty, or is it sloppery?
Baked.
Like egg? Baked.
So it's both. It's hard on the outside and
I'll be damned.
soft on the inside.
Well,
unbelievable.
I think we should pay him some money to have him make some and have you bring some to our next
I'm
podcast.
gaining weight. Last night, his sister-in-law came over and made us Swedish meatballs.
Which
God. I hadn't had in
All right,
years.
I'm paying 2 things. I'm paying for your brother's army cooked bake thing,
Breakfast.
and I'm paying even more for Swedish meatballs.
Oh my God,
I
they
swear
were
to
good.
God.
Oh my God, they were good.
In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the freaking store and buy those frozen Swedish meatballs, from Bird's Eye or so, whatever the hell. I love Swedish. If I'm at a party and they have Swedish meatballs, that's where you're going to find me. I will make my way back to the when they reload the bucket of Swedish meatballs. I'm circling the table. Honey, I'll be over there. I swear to God. So those are the two things. Next time I'll pay him. We'll pay him Kimmer Media money. One more happy event, a cute story, because I'm how am I doing on the non-grumpy? I mean, it's a whole nother. Oh, okay, what do we got?
Rocco says whatever you were talking about, it's called stoner cereal.
It'll get me a snack. What do we have? I've never been well, anyway.
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
I had to move rooms because his mother's going to come down and visit. So we're going to let her have the room I was staying in because she can let her dog out of the door there. So I moved to another room, which is on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I'm walking up and down. The dog follows me all the way down to one room, waits for me, comes. This went on for like
Nice.
an hour.
Good. I love
Just
that.
walked by. It's a big old lab. Followed me back the whole way. You know, getting your steps in. Yeah. To have a dog around is so cool.
Yeah.
And you get in the morning, she jumps off the couch and comes running up to you. She was looking out. Barry used to watch me out the window as I drove away.
Yeah.
She's watching me, through the door, watching me drive
Well,
away.
are you ready for another dog?
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. That's what Lucas does when I leave. Like, he'll go out the window.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah. Well, you're his guy. You're his one and only, so that's good.
So we show it.
For now.
Yesterday, driving up to the going to the stable, and there are four-way stops all over the place. So it actually happened, and I remember a comedy bit about this. So I got to the four-way stop, and there's a lady on the right in an SUV, and me. I was driving straight. She was on my right. We both got there pretty much the exact same time, within maybe a 13th of a second. Okay? So she's on the right. Even though I got there just a split second. Okay, so I stopped. I waited. She stopped, and she waited. And I said, no, you go. And she said, no, you go. And I said, no, you go. And she says, no, you. And guys are going like this. I got freaking go. So frankly, I did. But when I did, I waved very calmly and nicely as a gentleman to thank her and to say I'm glad that we were both calm and sweet and happy about this.
Okay, we've done a lot of personal stuff. It's
right.
time to do something topical.
Okay. This story, I have two daughters, and this story about the LSU co-ed and the drinking and the bar and the ride and the people and the so forth. I mean, this story to me, and I will also say this. There have been two women close to me in my life, one of my girlfriends, stuff like that, have been victims of rape. And in one of the cases, I offered to commit murder to go kill the guy because it was particularly heinous. And she said, no, that's okay, because it was a set of circumstances, and it wouldn't have been a legitimate justice revenge thing. Not that you can justify murdering a rapist. On the other hand, it almost came to that. But this is a story of a girl named Madison Brooks. And there are things kind of still happening as a result of what happened to her. But she was at a bar called Reggie's Bar. Reggie's in Baton Rouge near LSU, about a mile away from the actual campus. She was 19. And she was in the bar with men ages 17 to 28. And they were all drinking. They apparently had never met each other before they met at the bar. Apparently, let's see, she was in the bar, and let me get to the thing here. They were described how the victims and the suspects had been drinking alcohol at the bar called Reggie's, a mile from the campus. Several guys are charged with third-degree rape, which is considered a rape committed without the lawful consent. In other words, they didn't beat her up and rape her; they talked her into it, or she was too drunk to acknowledge it. So clearly, that's rape, but it's a third-degree case of rape. The girl had a blood alcohol level 400 times the legal limit. It's almost 0.4. I mean, like 3.8. Barely alive, basically. Let's see. She tested positive for marijuana. They were all drinking at the bar. One of the guys said they were leaving the bar for the night when the victim, the girl, walked with them. She described Miss Brooks as very unstable on her feet, unable to keep her balance, unable to speak clearly without slurring her words. Video shows her falling inside the bar, falling down. She said, or the guy said, he saw Miss Brooks and the 17-year-old, one of the guys, hugging and walking together, and she asked him for a ride home. The guy said they asked where her friends were. She said, I don't know, I'm too drunk and don't know where my friends are. So the kid offered her a ride home and asked her where she lived. He told authorities she fell over and could not answer him. So they drove her to a nearby street where he parked the car, and then he heard the 17-year-old suspect ask her in the back seat 5 times if she wanted to have sex with him, and every time she said yes. The 17-year-old and the 19-year-old girl had sex in the back seat. Then another guy asked her numerous times if she wanted to have sex with him too, and she said yes. So the guy got back in the front seat while sex acts were being performed with her in the back. 2 of the guys didn't do anything, but they're charged because they didn't stop it. One guy, one of the teenagers, said at some point he told authorities, quote, "We have to stop this." And so the guy named Washington and Brooks stopped having sex with her. The cops asked if she was too impaired to consent to sex, and he said, well, I guess so. They asked her where she lived, and she was unable to tell them, so they took her into a nearby subdivision and dropped her off. The point where the guy's lawyers, they've been arrested for rape, but the guy's lawyers are saying, wait a minute, it's not like they abandoned her in the middle of nowhere. They took her, they didn't know where she lived, she couldn't tell them, so they drove her to a lit residential area and dropped her off of the car. They didn't throw her out of the car. She got out of the car. They dropped her off. And then at 2:50 in the morning, the girl got struck and killed by a car. Dead forever. The lawyer says this is a horrible tragedy, but it's not a crime. Based on a disagreement, one of the guys, and the lawyer quoted him saying, based on a disagreement, she got out of the car. She indicated she was getting an Uber. And the lawyer says, I want the public to know that these young men, or really the driver of the vehicle and the young men that were in there, did not put her off the side of the road. She was a member of the Alpha Phi sorority in LA. Well, I mean, she said she was going to call an Uber, so they let her out at the subdivision to go get out and call an Uber. Clearly, I'm not defending her.
How do we
I'm
know
just
that?
saying.
Did she call an Uber? Do we know that?
I don't know. I'm just. This is the story. I'm just telling you the facts of there being that we think are facts being related to us. But clearly, the driver who hit her has not been charged. He stopped immediately and called the police, and so he didn't do anything wrong. Let's see, a 17-year-old was not identified. An 18-year-old named Kayvon DeAndre Washington was charged, along with Deontay Lee and Kason Carver, 18.
The bar has got to be charged with something.
The bar
has serving underage.
The bar has now been shut down.
Yeah.
The state of Louisiana issued an emergency suspension. And the mostly underage drinkers were there, and they got caught. One of them was in his 20s. The rest of them were 19 or 17 or 18 or 19. Yeah. And so they've shut down the bar, and there's going to be action against the bar immediately, suspending the service, then.
What's the hullabaloo about this? Then?
The hullabaloo is that these kids have been charged with rape, or not stopping gang raping, basically, and they've been charged. I don't know that they've been charged with murder, but they have been charged with rape. But it's possible that they could extend this to a manslaughter, reckless homicide kind of a charge.
Because they could have
taken
taken
murder,
her,
but it's clearly
they could have dropped her off at a firehouse, at
a police station. Wouldn't it? Well, I mean, but again, they could say, hey, she's drunk, and right. Could have taken her to any open gas station or a hospital or someplace like that. But anyway,
they knew what they were doing was wrong.
Yeah. Now, I mean, what
their actions led to her death.
I know.
It's manslaughter.
But again, the one thing right off the bat, she was 19, an LSU student, and and I guess she had friends.
Underage.
If she had friends there, how could they let her go off with 3 or 4 strangers that they've never seen before? Secondly, where does a teenage, I'm telling you, this is all cell phones. I guarantee you, every bizarre, freakish, horrible, tragic outrageous thing that happens is because of some kind of communication with a cell phone, getting together, or feeling safe, or feeling. I mean, I don't understand. Where does she feel that she's okay to be?
What do the smart people tell you all the time? It's the company you keep. Okay, you lay down with dogs, you come up with fleas, as mother always said. This happened to me a few years ago. I was at a birthday party at Wisteria Restaurant over there by Manuel's.
Yeah.
The phone rings, and it's Atlanta police. And I said, yeah. And they go, do you know a certain so-and-so? It was an ex. And I go, yeah. He goes, well, she's passed out up here at the Righteous Room, and she's got 2 dogs here. And everybody here says there were some friends here of hers, but they left her here. And when she was basically when she passed out. And he goes, and you're the only person who's picked up. We've called 10 numbers, and you're the only person who's picked up. So I said, all right, fine. I went up there, and I took the dogs. I took the dogs home. Then I went back and basically had to spend the whole night in the crazy ward at Grady, because that's where they take you. If you pass out drunk in Atlanta, you go to the crazy ward because they evaluate you and all that. And it's the friend. The friends knew the problem there and left her there with 2 dogs and didn't give a shit.
See, how could you leave somebody with their 2 dogs and she's...
well, the whole night she's abusing me, telling me, you're not my friend. I said, yeah, where are your friends? Right? Oh, when they get here, you can leave when they get here. And when they got there, they didn't get there till the morning. And I said, that's fine. You want to be with them, but they put you here. This is why you spent the night here, and you don't know where your dogs are.
Jesus.
And so it's not always a cell phone. So it's the company you keep. Those weren't her friends.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever tried to apply a girl with more liquor than she was handling so that you could make out with her or take advantage of her? I'm trying to think of times in my life. I think we've all
drinking. We were both drinking. I wasn't sober and getting her drunk. We were both drinking and getting drunk.
Yeah. I've been at this stage. I was thinking about this morning. I've never deliberately tried to get a girl drunk or slip her a Mickey or anything like that. I've tried to verbally talk girls into. There were 2 sisters when I was a teenager in prep school.
Rita.
And I had 2 sisters, and a blonde and a brunette. I tried to talk one into taking revenge on her sister by making out with me at the country club, and it didn't quite work.
You know why you don't do that? If you're sober and you're trying to get her drunk, the sex is horrible.
Yeah, there's no fun being with a drunken girl.
If you're both drunk, it's fine.
Then you don't. Yeah. But yeah, I mean.
But if you're sober and she's drunk, that's not fun.
Yeah. I remember. I'm trying to remember if I ever really. I don't think I really could do it, for one thing. Plus, it wouldn't be. I think when I've been with a girl who was drunker than I. And by the way, I can't believe this. My freshman year in college, and I invited a girl I used to know years ago from the neighborhood up for a spring party or something, and she came up and we were drinking like crazy. And I was hoping she'd get drunk enough so I could have sex with her, because I think I was still a virgin. But I was. Let me think now. I was basically an official virgin, and she was beautiful, about 3 years younger than I am, from the neighborhood. And I was hoping that would be the one, until we got to the point where she said, I think I'm going to throw up. That ended that. No more kissing and hugging on that. And I'm sure she probably did it because she said, it's getting too weird.
She did it. Oh, what's the matter, Margie? I think I'm going to barf.
Yep. All better now.
You okay there?
Did you see something down there, Margie? No.
I think I'm going to barf.
Anyway, I'm trying. I haven't really. When's the last time you were falling down drunk? Have you ever been really just out of here?
I can't. First of all, I could handle liquor. Very few times in my life where I was falling down drunk. But I remember exactly the last time I was drunk, and I drove drunk, was Halloween night 2011, and I prayed to God. I said, because I had to go through a police checkpoint there in North Highland. I said, if you get me through this and get me home, I'll never drive drunk again. And that's the last time I've even been drunk.
Do you remember when you rolled down the window? What it was like?
They just waved through. They were looking for something, and it obviously wasn't me.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I remember the time I went through a police checkpoint, and he said, "Do you have sweat?" I said, "No." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes, sir, officer." Thank God he didn't press the point. But seriously, I think the last time I'm a bad a terrible drinker, and I never drank. If I had a couple of beers, I get high, and if I have 2 mixed drinks, it's over. I mean, I'm not going to be good. But I think the last time I was literally falling down drunk, where I was afraid to lay down because I knew I was going to barf and the room was spinning, was probably 40 years ago, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know I'm a terrible drinker, so I don't drink. If I go to dinner with, I'll have a couple of drinks with a big dinner, and I'm okay. But if I'm going to a party, I tend to sip a thing. I walk around with it.
What they said, and we talked about it before, the James Bond thing. Basically, he got his martini that way because the water would be at the top.
Yeah.
So it looked like he was drinking. He was drinking water.
Yeah.
What is it? Shaken, not stirred, or stirred, not shaken?
Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Now we're going to talk. We're going to have a soundbite of Kevin McCarthy. We're also going to have a soundbite of the China banging spy congressman, and President Stupid lost his way again. Here we go. Also, a comedian with some jokes that were banned off of the internet. First of all, boys, I have a surprise for you. I forgot to do this earlier. I have two surprises, actually. First of all, I was talking about the cereal. Remember talking about the cereal? When I was there, the cereal, I remember probably 10 years ago, I actually did buy a box of cereal. Maybe it was 20 years ago, a box of cereal, and it was called Raisin Bran Nut Flakes or something like that. And it had sugar-coated raisins, and not plain raisins, but sugar-coated raisins, and some kind of crunchy, sugary, crunchy things in it, okay?
Yes,
so I go to and again, there's 9,000 brands of cereal. And I thought I got what I was looking for. It's called Raisin Bran Crunch Original, and it has the little crunchy doodads in it, but I don't like it. So anybody want cereal?
Do you want Raisin
Untouched by human hands. I did not touch it. I tried to roll down the cellophane in there, but and this was like 2 days ago, so it should be still.
Why don't you like it?
Well, I mean, it's okay, but I don't really like raisins in my food. But sugary coated raisins, I'll eat like crazy in cereal. But to me, it just seemed too kind of plain, or I don't know. It wasn't delicious.
You could have put sugar in it.
Huh?
You could put sugar.
Well, believe me, I put a lot of sugar in it. But it just wasn't. I just didn't like it. Also, I have two left of the Christmas tree cake, so you can each have one. There's two of them in there. and that's anyway. Here's your surprise for today. Now, excuse me.
Kimmer,
Yeah.
where'd you go to school?
Where to go to college?
Where'd you go to elementary school?
Oh, I went to elementary school at Fayetteville Manlius Elementary School in Fayetteville, New York.
Fayetteville, New York.
Yeah.
If anybody right now is listening to us in Fayetteville, New York,
I know there are. I know. I can tell you right now. My official. Well, you go ahead first, and I remember.
Pull your kids out of that school.
Why?
What is this?
It's a Christmas tree.
What is this?
Christmas tree.
What is that?
Oh, there's three of them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you are. Have to.
Taught you to count?
Well, I'm not good. In fact, they were having a reunion of my old junior high school, which had to be 60 years ago.
Good Lord. They're still
Well,
alive?
think about it. I mean, hell, I'm 70. Oh, there's more than that. It had to be, what's 13 from 40 to 50, 1959. And I just, so that's 65 years. Anyway, having a reunion this last fall of my junior high school class, and one of the girls who I went to school with in my neighborhood contacted me about it and reminded me that some of the people who are going to be there are a woman named Chris Nolan, who was my girlfriend in 8th grade.
Did you do her?
No, I kissed her. She let me kiss her. But she had a girlfriend named Marion, who was the girlfriend of my best friend Billy at the time. And Marion was this blonde, kind of a husky blonde. And I remember one time at the movie theater, we were in 7th grade or maybe 8th grade, 7th or 8th. We were at a movie theater together, and my girlfriend Chris, we were talking about whether we had never felt up a girl or something. I swear to God. And so Marion let me feel her up in the movie theater. My friend's girlfriend let me feel her up. Over the clothes, obviously, in the movie theater for like 8 seconds or something. God, I can't believe it. And believe me, that was huge. That was like going all the way. I mean, no one had ever done anything like that before. So, oh my God. Pretty weird, pretty weird. All right, hold on. We're gonna. If you could get the soundbite for us of Speaker McCarthy, and it's a good couple of minutes long, but it's worth hearing because you'll never hear it anywhere else except maybe Fox News. First of all, saluting our friends at swapmywhip.com. What a great idea this is. You're driving along. You see a car. Man, I've always wanted that Z22 or whatever the hell that Camaro was, whatever. If you go to swapmywhip.com, you may find like-minded car owners who have exactly that car or know someone who does who'd be very happy to swap with you. And again, whip is a colloquial phrase for a whip, and it's not for a ride. It's not just cars. It's obviously trucks and SUVs and jet skis, boats, ATVs, off-road vehicles, go-karts. I mean, stuff like that. And you swapmywhip.com. and you avoid the middleman, avoid salespeople and dealerships trading out that vehicle, the whip you've got, and find out that somebody's going to be very happy, and so will you. If you go and use the coupon code KIMMER, KIMMER, it's 180 days of free premium listings on swapmywhip.com. What a great idea. And I mean, you never know. Try it. Check it out. Yeah. Swapmywhip.com. And thank you for your patronage. We're very, very grateful. Okay, now, Speaker Kevin McCarthy's doing what he said. He's blocking some of the slimy haters from their committees, much like the hateful Dems did. The Democrats blocked Marjorie Taylor Greene from anything, from any committee. They blocked her from anything. So she had to go to the office every day and say, okay, what do you want to do now? I mean, literally, she was, studying stuff for her constituents, which is great. I mean, frankly, I think I'd be happy with that. But again, instead of those Democrat bills, but again, they punished her from day one. And so now Kevin McCarthy is saying, hey, we warned you, you want to set the limit like this, fine. And then he made it very clear why Adam Schiff for brains should not be on the Intelligence Committee, and a couple others is too. In fact, here's Kevin McCarthy. It's a good couple of minutes long, but he said what he was going to do, and by God, he did it.
Let me be very clear and respectful to you. You ask me a question. When I answer it, it's the answer to your question. You don't get to determine whether I answer your question or not, okay? In all respect. Thank you. No, let's answer her question. You just raised a question. I'm going to be very clear with you. The Intel Committee is different. You know why? Because what happens in the Intel Committee, you don't know. What happens in the Intel Committee, although the secrets are going on in the world, other members of Congress don't know. What did Adam Schiff do as the chairman of the Intel Committee? What Adam Schiff did, use his power as a chairman and lie to the American public. Even the Inspector General said it. When Devin Nunes put out a memo, he said it was false. When we had a laptop, he used it before an election to be politics and say that it was false and said it was the Russians. When he knew different, when he knew the Intel, if you talk to John Radcliffe, DNI, he came out ahead of time and says there's no intel to prove that, and he used his position as chairman, knowing he has information the rest of America does not, and lied to the American public. When a whistleblower came forward, he said he did not know the individual, even though his staff had met with him and set it up. So no, he does not have a right to sit on that. But I will not be like Democrats and play politics with these, where they removed Republicans from committees and all committees. So yes, he can serve on a committee, but he will not serve on Intel because it goes to the national security of America. And I will always put them first, all right? And if you want to talk about Swalwell, let's talk about Swalwell, because you have not had the briefing that I had. I had the briefing and Nancy Pelosi had the briefing from the FBI. The FBI never came before this Congress to tell the leadership of this Congress that Eric Swalwell had a problem with a Chinese spy until he served on Intel. So it wasn't just us who were concerned about it. The FBI was concerned about putting a member of Congress on the Intel Committee that has the rights to see things that others don't because of his knowledge and relationship with a Chinese spy. They brought it to the works of the leaders. I've got that briefing. So I do not believe he should sit on that committee. And I believe there's 200 other Democrats that can serve on that committee. So this has nothing to do with Santos. Santos is not on the Intel Committee. But you know what? Those voters elected Schiff, even though he lied. Those voters elected Swalwell, even though he lied to the American public too. So you know what? I'll respect his voters too, and they'll serve on committees, but they will not serve on a place that has national security relevance because integrity matters to me.
What's wrong with that?
Thank you.
It's perfect. It's exactly the case. And let's remember, I'm being happy now as we say it. No, it's a whole new thing. I figured this is a way to get more of those donations coming in. But anyway, so here's the thing. Let's remember that the mostly peaceful Ashley Babbitt Day Investigating Committee, where the reckless cop murdered an innocent unarmed woman, let's remember that when they were doing their committee to investigate and to condemn Republicans, they wouldn't allow Republican members unless they went along with the Democrats. They didn't even allow him to be able to investigate or talk about the January 6th.
Well, how about the fact he just admitted Nancy Pelosi knew Swalwell was with a Chinese spy, and she kept him on the committee.
That's right. I mean, see, that's the thing. It's this stuff you don't get. When's the last time you heard that?
I love what he just said.
Exactly. It's perfect. And he explained it. And again, he was arguing with the reporter saying, no, wait a minute. I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to tell you the whole deal. Again, it's unbelievable. He did exactly the right thing. In a minute, can you get the Swalwell thing here in just a second? But first, the reaction from Adam Schiff for Brains was, quote, all for doing my job, holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans. No, it was because you're a dirty, stinking liar who was in charge of the Russian collusion coup that worked from the beginning. That's why you're kicked off this committee, because you're a scumbag and you're an anti-American traitor. In fact, Schiff for Brains has now just announced he's going to run for the Senate seat held by Dianne Finkelfein-Cheatstein. Although she hasn't announced she's not running again. She's still a senator, but she's like 89, so she.
And this is the priority of Democrats. The first thing he did is he went on to TikTok.
Well, okay, here's the reaction to it. Quote, first thing Adam Schiff does once he gets as removed from the Intel Committee was post a video asking for money on a Chinese Communist Party spyware and propaganda platform, says Ted Cruz. Too rich. TikTok probably wasn't the best place for Schiff to air his grievances. He's so invested in America's national security, he's whining about it on a Chinese espionage site.
I have the audio. Do you want to hear it?
Oh, dear God, of all the dumb things he says, ways to respond on TikTok? Here's some more. Wait a minute.
Hello, I'm Congressman Adam Schiff with some troubling news. Today, Kevin McCarthy removed me from the House Intelligence Committee, all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans. We knew it would be bad when the Republicans took over, but it's far worse than we expected. But I can promise you this. This is not the end of my fight for our democracy.
No,
this is just the beginning.
What a scumbag. You know, I mean, the balls on this asshole. I mean, the balls on this guy.
Fuck him.
Like, he's a victim now. After all they've done to ruin.
He mentions Trump. How many times did he come out in front of the cameras and say he had seen the proof and had the proof and the proof was going to come out? Never, ever produced it.
Remember when he first came out with the committee, he fabricated an entire story about Donald Trump. I'm going to take this. I can find it on YouTube, but a 10-minute lie when he opened the hearing committee.
Again, he's the one who leaked classified information to reporters to make it look bad for the Republican Party and the conservatives and Donald Trump. I mean, they just caught him flat out. Now, Eric Swalwell. Let's get the soundbite of this guy. Wait till you hear what he claims they're trying to do to him now officially.
You got to ask yourself, what more do these guys have to do to be brought up on treason charges?
I don't know.
What more can they do?
Well, they're protected by the FBI and a DSI and NSI and.
By the way, that FBI guy that got arrested was one of the
Comey's
chief
guy.
investigators investigating Trump for Russian.
Yeah. James Comey actually hired the guy to investigate the Russian collusion and also to investigate. Was he even also the charge of part of the January 6th thing, too, was a Russian spy. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Unbelievable. Here's Swalwell, I think.
There we go.
Even though we have said publicly these smears are bringing death threats, he continues to do it, which makes us believe that there's an intent behind it. But we will not be quiet. We're not going away. I think he'll regret giving all three of us more time on our hands.
Did he just say
But at the end,
that they want to assassinate, want him dead, they want him killed, they want his family dead, they want his house burned to the ground?
That McCarthy's trying to get him killed. Yeah.
Oh, my God. You know, honestly, I think I'd walk across the aisle and punch him in the nose.
I hope he's...
You're going to accuse me, if I'm Kevin McCarthy, you want to accuse me of having you murdered? Honestly, how could he not punch him in the face, man to man? Grab him by the throat and say, come on, you son of a bitch and little weasel bastard. Bam!
I hope someone gets him.
Honestly, I mean, can you imagine?
At this, I think he's treasonous. I hope someone gets him.
We're not calling for it. We're just hoping for it.
I just hope it happens. I can hope people drop dead.
One more funny.
You got a list? I'll add them to my list.
Absolutely. Write
I
it
got
down.
a voodoo doll.
I'm ready. One more thing. I think this is freaking hysterical. Josh Hawley, who's one of the flamboyant conservative guys who doesn't go quite far enough, but he goes pretty far as a conservative. He has introduced a bill to prevent spouses with members of Congress from investigating and making money off investments while their spouses are members of Congress. He's calling it the Pelosi bill.
Did you hear what she did?
Which is perfect. Tell the little people.
What, 2 or 3 weeks ago, she dumped her Google stock.
Right before.
And now the DOJ is investigating and bringing out a suit against Google.
And Google stock dropped 4 or 5% after she sold it.
It's like that.
Gee, I wonder if there. Probably nothing wrong.
And it's not just here. It's a worldwide thing. That witch dictator in New Zealand that's quitting.
Who just quit. He resigned. Yeah.
She makes what they were saying. She makes like $100,000 a year, something like that. Her wealth in the last 2-3 years has skyrocketed into the millions. Where is this money coming from?
The Obamas probably. Yeah, they have so
they're
much
paying
extra.
them to push the jab.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Do we have President Showers with daughters comments? He did it again. Remember when he was introducing the members of his cabinet when he first got elected, and he wanted to introduce his good friend in charge of health or whatever it is, Baccaria. Whose actual name is Becerra, and Biden called him Baccaria. My friend, Director Baccaria, I know it's I'm like the president, ladies and gentlemen, his new cabinet. Didn't even know the names of his own guys. Here he is, and again, this was the other day, doing it again.
The Secretary of State, the Secretary of the military behind me they've been deeply involved in this whole effort. Armored capability, as General Austin will tell you, has been critical.
Oh my God!
Our sitting president right there.
I mean, it's embarrassing, isn't it? Embarrassing.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't.
Can we just split the country around? Just go ahead and do it.
You know, I'm
kick
happy
the
with it.
Democrats out.
Well,
while there's still a majority of us here.
And you know, the thing that bothers me, we've had 2 years of this guy. Everybody knows exactly what the story is. They knew it when he was hiding in his basement, how he got elected president. He couldn't answer a question and refused to answer a question. They let him get away with it. And now we've seen the results for 2 years, and they still couldn't. There should have been 30 seats overtaken in Congress.
Well, it's Republican.
And 2 Republican senators from Georgia. I mean, how could voters look at what's happened in 2 years and say, yeah, let's keep that going? Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm
brainwashed.
Oh. Here we go. What do you think about this? Let's talk about this, boys.
Did you ever think in your life that there would be bands of leftist mobs roaming the streets and taking over parts of cities, and that no one would do anything about it?
No.
Like this 1930s Weimar Republic, Germany?
I know. And again, it's all, you know why? Because we're a bunch of cowards who refuse to stand up for people who said, because of George Floyd, we need to take over your cities. Because a drug-addled cop fighter died from a drug overdose because he couldn't breathe because he was fighting the cops.
Got what he deserved.
Got exactly what was coming to him. And by the way, we've seen more examples of cops. When you're trying to hold down a fighting suspect, you hold him down and get on his back and his neck so he can't get you. What are you supposed to do? Damn. Jesus, I mean, anyway.
If you fight the cops, you better win. Otherwise, they got every right to beat the hell out of you.
The cops are supposed to go one step higher. If you yell at a cop, and then he was going to calm you down. If you hit a cop with your hand, he has the right to hit you with a nightstick. I mean, he has to go one above to calm you, to get above your level of violence.
They put one of yours in the hospital. You put one of theirs
in the morgue. That's the Chicago way. And you really want to get Capone?
I'll tell you how to get Capone.
Anyway, and a couple of little crime things here. State voters have just been polled, and more than half are now, and this is the first time in a while, more than half of the Georgia voters say they are in favor of not only medical marijuana use, but recreational marijuana in Georgia. And you know that means they're going to put it on the ballot. There's going to be a law. There's going to be a referendum. There's going to be something in Georgia soon about whether dispensaries can open in Georgia for medical marijuana and recreational marijuana.
Let's look at what happened in Colorado. Has the crime gone up? Is the state better since they did that?
Same with Florida.
And prices.
Has the state gotten better since they did
prices of housing? People go, for that per reason. The problem with more people showing up who really can't afford to be there, but are now there now. I mean, remember, Denver opened up their parks to homeless sleepers. So, but the thing my concern about it, I mean, for me, what am I, almost 80 years old? I don't, what do I care about whether I'm going to get high on dope? If marijuana was legal, I obviously would smoke marijuana. I mean, if it were legal, I wouldn't have a problem with having a joint before I go to bed or watching TV, a movie. I mean, I would.
But the problem is most people can't handle drugs.
Right. Here, the problem, if I'm thinking
and
about
we have to put up with it.
If I'm thinking about myself, then that's one thing. But if I'm thinking what's best for Georgia or best for America, then I'm thinking, okay, my biggest concern, honestly, is not that people are going to get high and get out on the interstate and drive 9 miles an hour. Although that's, I mean, it's possible. You're doing 12.
Cheech and Chong bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not worried about that so much, but I am worried about whether if you smoked a joint 2 weeks ago and you get in your car and some guy pulls out in front of you and you hit him and he goes to the hospital, guess what? You're going to prison. Because you've got marijuana in your system, therefore you're under the influence. So they've got to come up with some kind of a way to measure what amount of dope in your bloodstream.
Wait a minute.
Whether or not you're unable to function.
Well, they're trying to figure out that what they need to come up with is a breathalyzer.
Yeah, but how are they going to do that?
Because marijuana stays in your system for up to 30
wait a minute.
days.
For a month.
You just said you were concerned about society. You're not concerned about society.
All right.
You're concerned about,
I'm concerned about society putting me in prison for smoking joint 2 weeks ago.
All right. Well, I guess with both on the docket, would you rather have legalized gambling or recreational marijuana?
Well, if I had a choice.
Because I mean, what kind of like you were talking about homelessness
gambling ruined
and
my two brothers. I mean, I'm trying to help, but I don't have a lot of money to be able to spread around like I used to. So I mean, it affects all of us. But again, that's just I had two gambling brothers who lost everything because of gambling.
So what would be better for Georgia? Legalized gambling or
better for Georgia? Probably gambling. To make money so that we can do what we need to do as a state, but again, I don't know how you can possibly come up with a drug test, a breathalyzer, or even a blood test to say that a 200-pound man who's 50 years old can have a certain amount of THC in his system that won't impair him. How are they going to figure that out? Well, and everybody's different, so I mean, how can you do if it's in your system? You're screwed. They can prove it's in your system, and it's even though it's legal, it affects you. I don't know. I mean, again, to me, that's the biggest danger of it. But again, would you vote for it if it's on the ballot? Would you vote legalize marijuana?
No.
How about you, Flounder?
Yeah, I would.
Of course you would. I think anybody probably under 50 is going to almost automatically, just because everybody's smoking weed anyway if you're under 50 or 80.
People are dumb enough. I don't think we need to help the problem.
Well, that's the other thing. It's just
Well, the thing is with me is 6 or 7 years ago when I had my diverticulitis and intestinal issues, my recovery, marijuana helped.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give me opiates or anything like that because they didn't want me on that in my recovery. Right. So for 6 months, not 6 months, but right when I got out of the hospital for my recovery, they were like, here's some Tylenol PM.
Yeah.
That's it. And pot was a big aspect of helping me through my recovery process.
Well, again, I don't know what the right answer is. All I know is I'm nervous. If they do the legalizing pot, I'm nervous about what the effect might be, and especially for people who really aren't. I heard somebody make this point the other day about this drug business with the fentanyl. And again, how is it possible that America is not rioting with this whole program by President Showers with daughter, who says, well, we're going to give them an app now so anybody can come in, you just have to sign up and we'll let you in. So again, they're just allowing open borders. They're just saying, we want you to sign the app first, but they're still saying, come on in. And when they're saying, come on in, the fentanyl, I mean, how could they keep ignoring the thousands and thousands of the leading cause of death for young people today is fentanyl? Did you? I heard that just the other day.
Car
No, fentanyl. And somebody made the point, I think it was that young kid who's on Fox on the weekends now. I can't remember his name, but he's a young, good-looking kid. He looks about 15, very smart, very quick-witted, from Texas, and he's a lawyer. And anyway, he made the point. He says, here's the thing. When you hear about a 16-year-old kid who died of fentanyl poisoning, they're calling him a drug addict. They're saying, "Oh, another drug addict bit the dust with so and so." He said, "No. These kids who are getting fentanyl in their system are not getting the drugs because they're drug addicts. They're being poisoned.
Yep.
They think they're taking an Adderall or something that's might affect you a little bit, but it's not hydrocodone or something. They're thinking they're taking one thing." But they're taking fentanyl, they're being poisoned. They're not drug addicts. Mm-hmm. It's not a drug addict issue. You can't say, well, they're drug addicts. What do you expect? They're being poisoned. Mexican drug cartels are poisoning our children.
And they're getting it from the Chinese.
From China.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, my God. And it's a direct link. Everybody knows it. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing to me is it's the line of it is just negative. But if marijuana is legal, I'm smoking it. I guarantee you. And the good news is the price will go down. You wouldn't have to be paying whatever the hell those people pay for a pound.
Well, no, the thing is like if you in California, the sales tax on marijuana is almost 30%.
Yeah, well, that's how they get you. Yeah, but again,
at the same time, you can also drive right down the street and get what you want versus having to call a drug
you don't have to
dealer.
worry about gangbangers out in the back of Walmart at 2 in the morning. So
Is that what you're doing?
Well, normally I don't.
Usually it's the Publix.
Well, Walmart, Home Depot, either one. It's the same, the gathering place. A passing in the news, which I hadn't mentioned here until to now.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yes,
Scott.
Yeah.
As Joe Friday once said.
Yeah.
Marijuana's the flame, heroin's the fuse, LSD is the bomb, and Bill Cannon responded, right the hell on, man.
23 skidoo.
The Joe Friday goes off on the hippie about drugs is one of the funniest damn.
In fact, we should play. Find a joke.
Yeah, we've played that before.
Find
Yeah.
one just for kicks. Where he goes off about young hippies or something. You know what I'm talking about, Mister, don't you? I mean, it's
Cop, you're John, you're flatfoot.
Yeah. Find a Joe Friday. We'll play it as soon as we can find it.
Drugs. He's talking to a guy named Blue Boy or something.
What do you got, marijuana?
That's a lie.
While he's doing that, I will mention the passing of Lloyd Morissette was 93. Lloyd Morissette is the co-creator of Sesame Street. Abby Gadabby, Elmo, Cookie Monster. Sesame Workshop announced his death. He started with Joan Cooney at Harvard University and a child psychologist to see how they could teach children a different way of learning things. And Sesame Street's now in 150 countries. It's won 193 Emmys. Morissette was trained to be a teacher in psychology. He did a lot of experimental stuff, went to Oberlin, which is one of the well-known liberal chick type colleges, also studied at Yale. Anyway, he was 93 years old and co-founded Sesame Street and has passed away.
There's a child actor named Lance Kerwin who was big back in the 70s
I know that
and 80s.
name.
He's died of something.
He was with Claire Danes in that story about the young kids. Yeah. Remember that? He was a blonde-haired kid, right?
That doesn't narrow it down at all.
Well, Claire Danes was in a series back when she was like 15 years old.
Yeah, young.
And he was the guy in it.
He was in a lot of different stuff. And that other actor, that guy who was in Warlock and everything, the British, Julian Sands, went hiking there outside of L.A. and just disappeared.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I know that one. Wow.
He's probably been eaten by a mountain lion at this point.
Oh, my God. That can't be any good. Let's see. Another quick crime thing in the news here. We got another coward in the DA ranks. The district attorney in DeKalb County, Sherry Boston, is another chicken-livered little yellow belly afraid to take on any black crime. Or liberal crime, just like Fannie, the yellow-bellied Fulton County DA. The first thing she did get in office when she got elected, and the idiot Paul Howard finally got run out of town. And she said, I'm not going to do the Rayshard Brooks case because there's black people involved, and they might not like me. And so now the DeKalb DA is also afraid she's going to offend some gangbangers and some liberals, so she wants nothing to do with the investigation into the training center and the forest people. And she doesn't want anything to do with that. mad. She wants special prosecutors because she says, there'll be people who won't like me anymore.
Didn't they burn the Target down on Sidney Marcus?
Oh, sure, why not? That's let it go. It's no big deal. Yeah, they walk right. You go around the country, but it's not organized. Again, this Antifa. They're not organized. It's kind of a movement. It's kind of a political movement. Yeah, please. Where'd they get their uniforms and all their Molotov cocktails?
Seriously,
and all
it's
this
like
other
the
stuff?
black shirts marching down Munich.
It's on
Berlin.
It's exactly what it is.
It's
They're
the
taking
same
over,
thing.
and it's like they're saying, "What are you going to do about it?"
Right.
In fact, what are you going to do about it?
See,
Hell, it took them to shoot a state trooper in the belly before they got shot at and arrested.
I'm not saying bring back the Old South.
I am.
But I'm saying there was a time that they wouldn't have set foot here.
No, absolutely.
I'm just saying.
You know what they used to do to
Yeah, I know. That was a bad thing.
We just got a nice note from Fernando, who paid us a very nice little donation on Venmo, saying enjoying the show from Houston.
Houston where?
Or is that Houston? No,
But
Houston
depend-
Street.
which
but
Houston? There's a lot of Houstons.
Texas, I assume.
Why would you
I'm going
assume
with,
that?
I'm going with Houston, Texas. Let's see. So we got rid of the fanny thing there. Excuse me.
I'm from Houston.
Now, some wokeness in the news. Did you find a Dragnet thing, by the way? Any luck on a Dragnet thing? Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Joe Friday. Quinn Martin production.
This is the one where they're at the LSD party.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
It was a Joe Friday
Joe Friday.
production.
Let the ad play first. Sorry.
We got to find it first.
Yeah, it's going to be there in just a
Yeah,
second.
it's coming.
I'll tell you what I know. I know that, in fact, too many kids that begin with pot end up with heroin, then on to LSD. I know that if you drink, you suffer a loss of judgment if you drink to excess. But I also know that judgment returns when you sober up. I know, and so do you. When you flip out on an acid trip, you never know when you're going to slip out again. This is now, Bentley, not a couple of years ago. We've had time now to see and study the effects of LSD. People who haven't had a dose in weeks sail out on another trip. They never know when. The minute they drop one acid capsule or ingest it in any way, they bought the farm. They've lost any chance to depend on and even restore that most precious of all inner senses, judgment. And in my way of thinking, without judgment, you might as well be dead. Your brain is, so why not the rest of you? We were talking about marijuana. We still are. Marijuana is the flame, heroin is the fuse, LSD is the bomb. So don't you try to equate liquor with marijuana, mister. Not with me. You may sell that jazz to another pothead, but not to somebody who spends most of their time holding some sick kid's head while he vomits and retches sitting on a curbstone at 4 o'clock in the morning. And when his knees get enough starch back in him so he can stand up and empty his pockets, you can bet he'll turn out a stick or two of marijuana. And you can double your money. He'll be holding a sugar cube or a cap or two. So don't you con me with your mind expansion slop. I deal with kids every day. I try to clean up the mess that people like you make out of them. I'm the expert.
My favorite thing about that series was every time he goes on to one of his rants, you see the cutaway of Bill just nodding his head up and down.
Now, my thing
partner.
did he memorize those, or did he read it off a cue card?
Oh, I think he wrote them. I mean,
Oh, he wrote 'em,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure. And by the way, he was in the movie The D.I. Played a Marine Corps drill instructor, Paris Island. What a character. Oh. We're going to take a slightly make fun of some woke liberal things. You want to do a little Disney World update? Something new happening at Disney World?
They've gotten rid of, what's that, Splash Mountain?
Splash. I mean, how is it? What is possibly wrong?
I mean, Princess Di rode Splash Mountain. They've decided that there's some songs and characters that you see on the way that are from Song of the South.
Like Uncle Remus and
Yeah.
the Black Crows singing to the Black Crows. Or,
Tar Baby and
Tar Baby.
I don't know if the Tar Baby's there. It's probably not. But there's probably some bears or rabbits or something. Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and Brer Bear and all that stuff.
And you see them as your. I don't remember. I was on.
I
Splash
don't remember
Mountain.
it either. I never associated that with it. But they're good. Now they may bring it back and tie it into something else, which is what they probably will do.
I mean, what?
But here's another
people
weird thing.
really complain. I mean, there's someone.
Yeah.
How do they come up with this
Of
complaint?
course, people complain, Donna. So there's people, they're professional complainers. They're activists. Look on their card. They're social activists,
Yeah.
Kimmer. This is what they do. But the thing is, people, when they found out they were closing Splash Mountain, this is probably a Chad Potier thing, Chad, if you're listening.
Because it goes every 4 days.
They took vials and slopped up some of the water and sold it on the internet as some of the last water
God.
from Splash Mountain.
Oh my God!
And
you know,
made money.
Why didn't we think of that? We should have had Hangman go down there and get us some water.
He probably already did. I think Shannon and Brett were joking about it on a text thread we're on.
Well, there you are. Oh, God, I love it. Let's see. Let's not forget the woke M&Ms. That slutty little girl, that brown tramp slut whore M&M with the go-go shoes on and stuff. Well, those are gone now. You can't have go-go boots on a candy girl. Little slutty little tramp.
So
whore.
How about the lesbians?
Oh, there are 2 lesbian M&Ms now?
Oh, the whole bag is full of lesbians.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have that. Mars Candy, is that the company?
Now,
M&M?
I've looked at the M&Ms, both peanut and almond and regulars.
And peanut butter M&Ms,
I can't tell the difference between the males and the females.
Well, if you squeeze them on the end, they squirt from a different angle. It's just, you got to...
They do what?
No, I'm just saying. Woke M&Ms, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's change the subject.
Woke M&Ms.
Are you tired of arriving to surprises at your weekend cabin?
I am.
Have a mountain home you're having trouble maintaining?
Or getting?
Call North Georgia Intendancy. We can manage your North Central Georgia vacation, weekend, or rental house so you can relax at yours. Visit us at ngaintendancy.com or call them 770-595-6664. That's 770-595-6664. NGA Intendancy.
Let's get the number again.
770-595-6664.
There you are. Now, speaking of entertainment, what's this about a movie predicting where we're going in America?
A movie predicting where we're going in America. Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked.
I believe so. It might have been Sly, a movie, Sly Stallone, maybe. And,
Sly Stallone.
Yeah. See, if I have to keep reminding you of the things you tell me you're going to do, it kind of cuts into the flow of the show.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm getting there.
Yes,
just a
there
second.
is.
Okay. Flounder, did you ever see Demolition Man?
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, they make fun of Arnold. It's Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Great movie. Yeah. And everyone at the time, it's okay, but it's really a great movie. Sandra Bullock's in it. A lot of people, Benjamin Bratt was in it.
Oh, this is, I think this is, what's
a comedian that we all like?
Bill Burr?
Poor Filipino. That's
Mancia?
Republican now. He was on Saturday Night Live. Copy guy.
Oh, yeah.
Rob Reiner.
No.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. Yeah, he's in it. There's a bunch of people you go, oh, my God, I can't believe he's in this. All right. Basically, everything is bad. It's set in the future. All right?
Yeah, I remember the virtual sex.
and remember the guy, all the leaders are walking around. You can't tell if they're men or women. And so this person said, remember in Demolition Man when it's the future and everyone's a bunch of fat, androgynous, moo-moo-wearing sissies and everything is illegal? Yeah, not so funny now, huh? You've got to see that movie.
Yeah,
you would love that movie.
I think I've seen a bit, and I don't know why
Wesley Snipes is funny. And there's one point, every time you cuss, they're listening all the time. You cuss, this little thing on the wall goes beep, and a little piece of paper comes out. Of course, it wouldn't be paper then. It pops out and it says, you've been fined for cussing or something like that.
I don't remember
And at one point, and they use clamshells instead of toilet paper. And he goes,
that's got to hurt.
He goes, I don't know what's going on in there, but I go to the bathroom
screaming.
He goes, but yeah, I don't know. You got these clams. And they go, oh, he doesn't know how to use the 2 shells right there. So he starts going, with them blanking shells, blank, and it's spitting out these papers. And he's taking them, and he goes, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to the bathroom. I mean, it's funny as hell.
Oh, my God. Oh, and have you heard... We used to make jokes that it seemed like about every month or so, the Al Jazeera Constitution would have a story in the Sunday paper about Emmett Till. And the little boy was, saw the white girl and say killed and hung and da-da-da. Okay. I mean, it just seemed like there's always, every month or so, there's some kind of slavery, hanging, lynching story about white supremacy in the local papers. Well, the woman director of the movie Till is now saying that Hollywood clearly is upholding their whiteness after she did not get a nomination for an Academy Award.
How dare they?
The Till director, Chinoka Wakawak Chika Chuka Woo Woo, I might have mispronounced that, is accusing the Oscars and the entertainment industry of being aggressively committed to upholding whiteness because she didn't get a Best Director nomination. They were announced this week. Some usual surprises and snubs. Till, the biographical drama about Marnie Till Bradley and her search for justice of the murder of her 14-year-old son, Emmett Till, received critical acclaim, but no nominations in any category. And so Chukawaka Woo said the Academy Awards are upholding whiteness and perpetuating misogyny against black women.
All they did was do black women and Asian women.
It's a movie about black justice. I mean, my God. We live in a world, she says, and work in industries that are so aggressively committed to upholding whiteness and perpetuating an unabashed misogyny toward black women. I am forever in gratitude for the greatest lesson of my life. Regardless of any challenges or obstacles, I will always have the power to cultivate my own joy. One of my greatest forms of resistance. Remember 3 years ago, the Academy said they have a new series of inclusion requirements. So if you're going to make a movie and be nominated for an award, you have to have at least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors being a marginalized group.
You give them an inch, and they take a mile.
Or at least two creative leadership positions, and department heads must be filled by underrepresented minorities. It's an obvious quota system. Is there any going back? She says, I don't think so. I think the Oscars are dead, one producer said. They're coming up March 12th and Sunday. Anyway, so she's pissed off because she didn't get a nomination, so clearly you're all a bunch of racists.
Yeah, that's what we've gotten to.
Well,
good luck getting another gig, bitch.
Yeah. Here's a couple of, right along that line, a couple of...
Angela Bassett's been nominated for Black Panther.
Doesn't matter, Pete. If she didn't get her nomination...
Michelle Yeoh is Asian.
I know. Here we go. How about this? Okay, one more. Here we go. Right. Here's a story of a guy who's critical of transmasculine health issues. The Washington State Department of Health is refusing to use the word woman in an advertisement about cervical cancer. Quote, transmasculine persons with a cervix should talk to their doctor about cervical cancer screening. Transmasculine's a term used to describe people who were assigned female at birth but do no longer identify as female. So they fall into the masculine spectrum, and the education director of adult retailer sexual health company Good Vibrations claims the choice of language is getting savaged on Twitter, saying, how could you can choose not to acknowledge women talking about your cervix? This is mental illness. You mean women? Just say women. I mean, a man can now have a cervix and be warned about cervical cancer. How about this? The Democratic whip in the United States Congress, Catherine Clark, has now scrubbed. Again, this is the number 2 Democrat in the current Congress. She has scrubbed a link to one of her cop-hating articles in a website before she got her new leadership gig. The number 2 position, she took down a link from Boston supporting radical ideology, taking away police forces, taking away the money, defunding police, anti-police slogans and spray paint, hate the police, all cops are bastards on public property. And now she claims she condemns violence against anybody, police or anybody else, but of course they scrubbed it. And by the way, she also mentioned that her middle child is having nightmares due to climate change. Her middle child, Riley Dowell, has just been arrested for tagging a monument with hateful cop comments. She was one of the Antifa-type protesters over this past weekend. She wasn't doing it in Atlanta. The kid was doing it in Boston, the child of the number 2 Democrat in Congress, just for the record. And she says, well, kids. How about this? In North Carolina, longtime Democrat state auditor Beth Wood. The girl auditor was driving along. She was at an event for a couple hours. She said, when I left the event, I made a sharp right turn and inadvertently hit a parked car. I was shaken by the incident, and when I was unable to move my vehicle, I left the scene. That was a serious mistake, and I regret my decision. It was what you call a hit and run. She plowed into a car and fled, okay? So the North Carolina Republican Party is saying, hey, you have to quit. Your car accident may have been a mistake, but the decision to sneak away from the scene was intentional and wholly unbecoming of a state elected official. And of course, she's not going to, I'm sorry, she's not going to resign. The owner of the parked car said his daughter had borrowed the car for an evening of out and a collision to work at a downtown restaurant. I get a call from my daughter who literally says, "There's a car on top of my car, Daddy." And the guy said, "I just hope that the justice system is fair and impartial in this case and not use her position as a privilege to skate out of it unscathed. Silence speaks volumes of her character and how she handles tough situations. I can only imagine when it comes to her duties and responsibilities as the state auditor." And, of course, the girl said, "Well, I apologize to the owner of the car, but I'm not quitting." Which I think is also fairly telling.
Don't have, well, she obviously was drunk or high.
Yeah.
Why else would you flee?
Yeah. Right, exactly. You didn't want to take, you were scared, you freaked out, and you didn't want to take response. If you had just hit a parked car and you weren't high or under the influence, you'd have said, "Oh crap, this is going to cost me, and my insurance company, I'm going to get, I'll have to pay for his thing. Insurance is going to cover it. Your premium is going to go up." Those are the things that anybody else would be thinking.
She has to
"Oh
resign.
crap."
She has to resign.
She was definitely high.
Yeah. Why else would you do? Yeah.
No question. Have you heard, speaking of liberal Democrats, how about the liberal Florida Democrat teacher has had to resign her post? A very unattractive woman named Donna Barber, who's 52 years old, had to resign after she was video chatting with her boyfriend during school hours. Unfortunately, this Florida woman's boyfriend is in prison. And so Franklin County, Florida, and so she was doing video chats with her prison boyfriend, and one of the staffers monitoring the video chats of the inmates, which they're obviously supposed to do, found that this 52-year-old woman was taking off her clothes, and they were doing sex talk on the video chat from her school during school hours in her office to the prison.
You're yelling again.
And the guy's saying, "Hey, jail is not a resort. People in jail have to abide by the rules. You have to have some kind of order." Am I talking
You're
loudly?
yelling at me.
Am I?
Yeah, you're yelling. Top of your lungs. Yeah.
I can't believe. Well, I guess my ear rockets need to be adjusted. Anyway, they say it's you can have chaos or you can be dangerous to the staff and deal with the inmates. And clearly, she's taken off her clothes, flashing her boobs.
Well, remember I told you I had a story too?
I heard your story.
Here's the
Yes.
the headline.
All right.
OnlyFans, OnlyFans, right?
Right.
Model discovers dad pays for her X-rated content, and how did she find out? After hearing mom in the background. Her name's Carla, left horrified as she found out her father was paying to see her explicit content and even paid extra money for personal requests.
Now, wait a minute. And the father knew that the daughter was the one taking off her clothes?
Oh, yeah.
So the daddy was paying extra money to watch his daughter strip.
Oh,
or do whatever
strip.
she was
do
doing.
whatever she was doing.
The things that girls do
And she's
without
not
their
even
clothes on by themselves?
She's not even attractive here. So Movie Man Mike said,
God.
this is where Kara Stockton would have said, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be illegal. I mean, I assume the mother that they divorced, their mother's going to divorce him, or the wife will divorce him.
I don't know.
And the daughter would have to, never see him again. I mean, how? Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's an incestuous pedophile. Well, he's not a pedophile.
Well, she's over 18,
he
but
probably
still,
was.
I mean, he's a pervert. He's like, he could be president one day.
Of course, he'll say,
Oogling his little daughter. Yeah,
"Let's
that's
find out
president.
what she was doing."
Oh,
Personal?
research.
Yeah.
Research. I was writing a book on daughters who become tramps. Oh, my God. Speaking of OnlyFans, I was reading a story about a good-looking blonde woman who is a teacher, and she has an OnlyFans account where she strips and shows her boobs, and I don't know what she does, if she pleasures herself, or I don't know what she does, but she clearly either gets naked or mostly naked. She's a stripper. Okay. Anyway. And she has an OnlyFans account. Somebody at the school system found out about it, and took some pictures of her in a state of undress and told the school district, and they fired her. Huh. So she is suing, saying, "Wait a minute. Yeah, this has got nothing to do with me working for a school district in whatever capacity. It's my own OnlyFans thing." And the reason she did it, she says, well, frankly, I didn't want to be, I think she did, I don't know what she actually did. Oh, I know what it was. I beg your pardon. It's not even that she works for the school. She volunteers at the school. That was the point. I'm so silly. the reason they fired her from volunteering, they said, we don't want you showing up at our school anymore. And she said, what I do that's my business. That's my job. She said the reason she has an OnlyFans account is because she can make enough money to doing that instead of going to work 9 to 5, and she's there with her husband or kids or whatever. And I thought to myself, I guess that really works. And so, and you know what? I had, honestly, a thought in my head. Now she's suing because they won't let her go on the high school campus or whatever school campus it is. And I got to do you remember a columnist many years ago named Bob Greene?
Kind of.
Chicago Tribune, I think.
Not really.
Anyway, he was just a guy. He was pretty clever. He was kind of a leftist, just your basic commentator. He was kind of the opposite of Mike Royko back at the Chicago Sun-Times for years back in many years ago. And Bob Greene, one day for kicks, there was an article or a subject came up, and so one day for kicks, Bob Greene, who was an unattractive, sort of overweight, unmuscular guy, 30-year-old type guy, just your average Joe, and he decided to do a stunt and to see whether a gimmick, see if it would work. He had somebody take a picture of himself posing for a poster. And the picture was of him. I think he might have had a cowboy hat on, or maybe straw coming out of his mouth. And he had a shirt unbuttoned about 4 buttons down, and it showed his unmanly chest. He's kind of overweight, kind of a paunch, and wearing jeans and a shirt. And he was just kind of standing there like this. And he sold thousands of them. And I forgot what the gimmick was, and he sold thousands of them. And for a second, I thought to myself, what would happen if we started doing an OnlyFans account video of someone like me pretending to be, I am the love doctor. I will give you tips on how to love. Anyway, I'll take off and do a little strip thing, and maybe go up to show my, but do an OnlyFans account as a complete satire where people can just absolutely make roasting fun of me, trying to think I'm sexy and trying to turn on old women.
On there. They probably wouldn't let you on there.
Why not?
Because you're not doing it for sex, I think.
OnlyFans isn't sex. It's just isn't OnlyFans just a thing?
I don't know.
In other words, and I guess you have to. I don't know anything about it. Hey, Flounder, do you know about OnlyFans?
Why pay for porn when it's free?
No.
Well, do you have to pay? Do you have to?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, again, if somebody knows about the OnlyFans thing, do you think it'd be? We're just throwing it as a question.
No.
Oh my God! Where's the sense of humor? Do you think it'd be fun? Would it be worth it to try? I don't know if it costs money to set this up.
Yes,
I don't know
it
whether you have
does.
to invest a thing, whatever. Would it be worth trying to do of me, jokingly being sexy and trying to turn on the old ladies as a website, as an OnlyFans thing?
It would be funny once. But who's going to keep going back?
I don't know. They kept going back to everything else.
Yeah, because girls show their tits and ass.
Yeah. Well, I'll show mine. I'm serious.
Have fun.
Anyway, all right, then never mind. I'm trying to raise money for the podcast, you guys, so we can keep it going.
I don't have any part of that.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Let's see. A quick one-liners. Donald Trump is invited back to Facebook. And the story came out from NBC that Marjorie Taylor Greene has been asked to be his vice president. That's not true.
I haven't heard that.
No, that's not
Well,
true.
earlier in the week, there was tweets about Carrie Lake.
Well, she's a loser. We don't want her.
Well,
either.
again, and to me, the fact that I think NBC probably, that's the Chuck Todd network. They're the most vicious, racist, and of course that black guy, the anchorman, Lester Holt. He's the second biggest racist in America. He and Chuck Todd. Anyway, so it may have been just to throw it up against the wall, see what happened. Also, okay, I'm stopping.
I was supposed to do that on the OnlyFans thing.
Oh, who's that from? Let me guess.
Who?
Sophia.
No, Scotty.
Scott. Well, yeah, Scotty the window guy. All right, block him. California Governor Newsom wants to be your president. Again, he's the worst governor of the worst state in America. He had a guy arrested who was on a sailboard, paddleboard in the ocean for not wearing a mask. Anyway,
had the Navy out.
Governor Newsom, actually, after this latest mass shooting in
California.
Yeah, California. But what was it? I played golf there with Danny
San
McLefty.
Mateo?
No. It was.
It doesn't matter where.
Anyway,
it was.
whatever. Names won't come to my head. I just hate this. Anyway, Governor Newsom now has said publicly and out loud in part of his new campaign platform, the Second Amendment is basically a suicide pact. I mean, he really said that. He really believes that the right to bear arms is basically just allowing people to go kill other people and kill themselves.
You're not taking our guns.
And by the way, one more time, and I'll do this one more time. The Second Amendment does not mean you have the right to have a gun. The Second Amendment says the government does not have the right to take it away from you. You have a God-given right. If you were born here, you have a right to have guns. That's what the Constitution says. The Constitution says the government does not have it's a negative. The government shall not does not have the right to stop you from having guns.
What
big difference.
Democrats and liberals think at some point your society should get to the point and progress to the point where you don't need guns anymore and the government will be able to keep your safety.
Yeah.
Where the hell is the government able to keep any of us safe or has progressed to the point where we can trust them? All they do is lie to us. Why the hell would we let them only have guns?
Well, the system is set up so that it can't be that way. I mean, that's why we have it this way, because that's what the founders did not want. The founders said, hey, we revolted. We had a revolution. And if we are bad to our peasants, they have the right to revolt against us too.
Yep.
I mean, they said if we're bad, get rid of us with your guns.
Tyranny.
I mean, it was based on tyranny, on overthrowing the government. Anyway,
a massive government that was the biggest world power at the time.
Yeah, we're going to do a couple of sports things here, possibly, and some elevator shenanigans and crying at a movie and all that coming up. But first, one more thing. Hunter, this is unbelievable. And God bless this chick at the New York Post, whose name escapes me now, the brunette who's on Tucker all the time. She has a British accent, and she wrote the book on the Hunter Biden laptop story. I almost had the name. It's going to come out. She was on the other night. Among Hunter Biden's emails are an email involving his energy company where they're getting millions of dollars and trying to get millions of dollars from China and Russia and Ukraine. And Hunter at the time also has a secretary who's a Chinese woman who's trying to convince him to get his father to get more energy companies in China. I mean, the link is very, very clear. But here's the difference. In this one particular email, I think it was concerning Ukraine, Hunter Biden wrote in his email something like, well, it's clear that the government of Ukraine needs to have a certain percentage of the available vehicles for the military inclusion into the and it's a whole military lingo paragraph of what Ukraine needs for armaments and securities and all the things that go into making a war, and it sounded exactly like a military intelligence briefing. Hunter Biden has never sent an email, anything like that, ever. Clearly, he got that from a government document while he was staying at Daddy's place. He was using government documents to help make the case to why his company should be involved in getting supplies to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the son of the no longer vice president and the no longer senator at the time was using classified documents to help his own personal business, while Joe showers with daughter says, I don't know anything about his business. I mean, if you didn't have any more clear evidence than that, holy smokes. Oh, my God. All right, anyway, coming up, we have a happy puppy story. I'm going to tell you about how a doctor may not even have a face anymore. But first, Pete Davis is going to help us talk about elevator shenanigans. And when you're looking for something to do and maybe you've got a long elevator ride, I'm not exactly sure where this is going to go. Also, I've got a story about a bad day at Black Rock and some historical things and a couple of soundbite history things and some stuff like that. And the story of a movie to have a good cry by, apparently. And all that's coming
it's not
up
really a movie. It's a.
All right. Well, while you're looking for that,
I got it right.
Oh, you got it right there. There you are.
You want to do the elevator first?
Sure.
Okay, Flounder, there's some good stuff to remember here. Annoying things to do on an elevator.
All right.
You're on an elevator. You're going way up.
Are you by yourself or with people?
No, you got people
with
in
people,
there.
All right.
All right. Stand silent and motionless in the corner facing the wall without getting off.
You've been bad.
Greet everyone with a warm handshake and ask him or her to call you Admiral.
I don't think so, Admiral.
Meow occasionally. Meow.
It's like, did we ever figure out the baseball player who was going meow in every one of his interviews?
Yeah.
It must have been a stunt where they made him do it as part of a rookie thing.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Every interview he did, he had to say meow in somewhere in the interview.
Stare at another passenger, then announce in horror, "You're one of them," and back away slowly. Say ding at each floor.
Ding.
Ding. Make explosion noises when someone presses a button. Draw a little square on the floor with chalk and then announce to the person, "This is my personal space."
Yeah, that'll work.
When there's only one other person in the elevator, tap them on the shoulder,
Yeah.
then pretend it wasn't you. Drop a pin and wait until someone reaches to help pick it up, then scream, "That's mine!" And number 10, things to do to annoy people in the elevator: call out a group hug and then enforce it.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I found the story that I was wondering whether you saw about the college basketball game that got interrupted.
Yeah, with the Uber.
It's a true story. Loyola Chicago Duquesne basketball game, college basketball game last night as we speak. Loyola Chicago, second half, 16 minutes left. Loyola Chicago has a ball near the right baseline when suddenly this guy with a package walks onto the court in the game, during the game. Waltzes onto the court looking for someone who bought the McDonald's meal that he was holding. The officials immediately called a timeout, and the guy was ushered off the court. The announcer saying, somebody just came on the floor on the far side looking for an UberEats delivery, carrying a McDonald's bag. I'm not kidding. This has to be one of the great all-time color commentator things. The guy's in the corner. Was he going to deliver the McDonald's to someone on the court? Can we rule that out? We said, hell, I'll put my hand up. I'm getting a little bit hungry over here in the booth. The funniest part of it was they took the delivery man away, but as he was being hauled off, he was still looking for the guy who ordered the McDonald's food at the basketball game and walking around the arena with a bag and a drink in his hand. He certainly went above and beyond to try to get the UberEats delivery at the ball game.
What a great way to get into an arena.
UberEats.
Yeah. Oh, come on in. Yeah.
I guess it worked. I wonder if I guess they could do that.
It had to be a joke, don't you think?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Very possible. One rather astounding piece of news that I thought that I got from my good friend Mike Summers. I used to work with many years ago. Check this out. We've been talking about. I have a real thing about the technology of cell phones, and I think it's dangerous in many ways. Okay. What the hell? Limited access. Oh, don't tell me this.
Well, while you're
oh my
looking.
God! Look at it! Look what it did. Okay, Mike Summers sent me an article, and it says AI, artificial intelligence, passes the U.S. medical licensing exam. Researchers figured out how to put all the information they would need into artificial intelligence, and they had this machine could go to a patient. And much like the old days of Star Trek, where McCoy would run this mechanical thing and say, "Oh, I know exactly all the problems are," the AI doctor could scan the body and find out everything wrong inside the body better than the human doctor could do. And they were so good at it, they could pass the medical licensing exam. In other words, a robot has passed the medical licensing exam. A robot.
Well, yeah, that's the way it's going. Well, they got robots that'll operate on you.
I know. Well, robots make cars. Assembly line stuff. But still, this is to diagnose inside a body. Yeah. Right. By measuring heat things.
It's
whatever.
Star Trek. What you said. What do they call that thing? The tricorder. That's what they call it.
Yeah. Now, just as an aside, Mike Summers sent me this a few days ago. I opened it when he sent it. That's one. I opened it again like a day ago, yesterday when I was getting ready for the podcast to see how I was going to do it. So that's two. And I opened it again just now, and all of a sudden it says AI passes medical licensing exam, and then the rest of the page says med page today, continue reading with unlimited access if I sign up to join their website. Yeah. And it will not open the page anymore, so I can't read the story.
That happens. Yeah.
So I guess if somebody sends me something, I can only look at it once.
Well, if Mike did that on purpose. Speaking of AI,
yes.
Here's a story you'll like.
All right, sir.
DARPA, you know what DARPA is? That government company or whatever that does all the weird stuff. Well, anyway, they're into research and all that.
Yeah.
All right, they built something with AI, and they think that it can't be approached, it can't be caught off guard.
Yeah.
So they got some Marines to spend a week at the test site. For 6 days, the Marines walked around it, and the engineers refined their algorithm for detecting people. On the 7th day, they said, we're done, we're flipping this. So the Marines would try to then defeat the AI system. They parked the robot in the middle of a traffic circle, and the Marines had to approach it undetected, starting from a long distance away. If any Marines could get all the way in and touch this robot without being detected, they would win, and they wanted to see what would happen. 8 Marines, not a single one got detected. They defeated the AI system, not with traditional camouflage, but with clever tricks that were outside the AI system's testing regime. 2 of them somersaulted from 300 meters, never got detected. 2 hid under a cardboard box. You could hear them giggling the whole time.
The giggling Marines.
Like
syndrome.
Bugs Bunny in a Looney Tunes cartoon. They snuck up on Elmer Fudd in a cardboard box.
I love it.
One guy, this guy says, my favorite, he field stripped a fir tree and walked like a fir tree. I don't know how you walk like a fir tree. You can see his smile, and that's about all you see.
See, the Marines, man, don't mess with them. I'm telling you. Oh, they're trying to make them woke, too. Just a quick note about the way things ought to be. Again, I've mentioned before that it used to be, I think it's still the same case. It used to be that if you were a pregnant woman and you went from an American pregnant woman, and you went to Mexico for whatever reason, and all of a sudden had your baby in Mexico.
Yes, sir.
That baby is not a Mexican citizen, and they kick you out.
Yes.
They say, go home. You don't live here now.
Vámonos.
You're out. Here's another thing that happened. You heard about the boat, one of the latest boat incidents. 230 migrants pulled from a sinking boat a couple of weeks ago off of Tripoli. Out of the shore show. 230 would-be migrants, most of them from Syria. The boat broke down. They started to sink. Most of them were rescued, mostly Palestinian, Syrian refugees. They are trying to leave their countries by sea to reach Europe. Along the border with Israel, the peacekeepers from the UN were able to save all but 2 of the passengers. But here's the point. To the port of Tripoli, they brought them to the port of Tripoli. They were recovered overnight. The Lebanese army loaded 200 rescued Syrians onto trucks and drove them back to the Syrian border on the unofficial other side of the crossing in a remote area and dropped them off again. Here you go. Bye-bye.
That's what we should do.
And honestly, I don't know why our country isn't saying, oh, it's great to see you. Here's a little gift bag. We're going to make sure you're comfortable while we load you on these buses here and drive you right the hell back to Mexico. I mean, why aren't they doing that? When they get the people in their little centers, we'll take your name. What do you want to do? Okay, fine. And now we're putting you on a bus and driving you right back across the border. And you fill out the forms or go to your embassy or whatever you need to do to see if you want to come to America. But you're not just going to sneak in and stay here.
Democrats. You know what?
I mean, isn't that the right thing to do? The nice thing to do, even as a Republican, would be to say, sorry, well, you sneaked in, you rascal. That's so wrong. But, it's illegal. So tell you what, put your name down. You want to be an American citizen. Don't blame you. What a great country. Let's get your name and your phone, your address, stuff like that. And we'll put you on a bus and send you right the hell back. And then you fill out the proper forms. And one day you might become an American. That's the way it works. I mean, what's immoral about that?
Democrats and the media have gotten to the point where you are a racist to say that.
I mean, take care of them and say, we've got your name. Thanks for coming. Off you go.
Racism.
And get back in touch with us when you go do it the right
Kimmer,
way.
it's their land. We just stole it. It's their land.
How about a happy story? Can we do a happy story?
Sure. We can do a happy story.
Okay. In fact, this almost made me weep when I was reading it this morning.
Cry, baby.
North Carolina. A dog named Ronald is a sweet, clumsy 64-year-old puppy.
No, he's not. He's not 64 years old, Kimmer.
64 pound. Sorry. Sweet and clumsy 64-pound puppy named Ronald, who they've dubbed Unlucky, because he is at the Wake County Private Nonprofit Animal Rescue SPCA in Raleigh, North Carolina. He was, they got him last December as a transfer pup from a nearby shelter. He spent a week there, and he's a mixed breed, big, fat, happy puppy, but kind of sloppy and a little ungainly. You know, he's a puppy. A big fat puppy and kind of a thing. Anyway, one family took him and then say, well, we brought him home, but it just wasn't meant to be. Then another family, and then another family, and they brought him back. Just wasn't the right fit. 11 times. This puppy went home for the pending adoption to see if it fit. You know, they'll give you a week or whatever, or a few days. And or suddenly the family said, no, this isn't going to work, 11 different times. Ultimately, they decided not to go through with adopting him. From the start, he's a big puppy, has a lot of energy, he's oversized, he's typical and clumsy and playful and goofy, learning his manners, and people just weren't ready to have it. Well, January 11th this year, just now, a few days ago, the team at the SPCA shared Ronald's unlucky history on Facebook. They got 800 messages almost immediately, overwhelmed and stunned by the response. Kirsten Davis, a nurse from Rayford, North Carolina, one of the thousands who saw the post, reached out and said, I know I'll never get him in time. She wasn't even given a chance, but she drove there immediately, took him home for the dress rehearsal. As soon as I brought him home and saw him with the boys and our other dog, I knew we would finalize the adoption. Her husband stationed at Fort Bragg. They're parents of 2 boys and a 3-year-old Australian Shepherd. She said, I wasn't intimidated by his behavior at all. He's energetic and he's a freaking puppy. And they brought him home. He loves to cuddle, loves to take up the whole couch, tries to sneak up on the kitchen counter for a snack, loves going for walks, loves the kids, loves the other dog. Their 1-year puppy now has fans on the Facebook page to be overwhelmed with love and positivity. If everybody came together like they did for Ronald, a lot of dogs in shelters in the U.S. would be finding homes right now. And I thought, man, I want dogs and cats. I want cats and dogs. And the more I go to the stable and because that's my only saving grace is the horses and the cats up there and the dogs up there. And I thought to myself, there's no way I can do it. One, emotionally, I don't think I'm ready unless if I do a GoFundMe to raise enough money for a Kimmer live-in girlfriend who can take care of in the right way, and work something out, and then I would get dogs and cats. So if you feel bad for me that I can't get dogs and cats because it's just something to think about. I'm not saying it's a thing. I'm just saying it's something to think about.
The dog that's with us right now, Katie, she's a big old 80-pound lab, has a propensity of getting up on the counter when you're not looking. Her front paws in her face. And a couple days ago, we got this huge chicken pot pie from Costco. They got great shepherd's pie and chicken pot pie at Costco.
Costco has all kinds of good hot plates.
Oh
really
God,
good.
I bought
They're ribs.
pot pie just the other day.
And there's just about this much left in it.
But now, do they have a lot of crust? I hate pot pies that don't have a lot of crust.
I don't know what kind of crust you like.
I'm just saying.
So there's about a third of the pie left, and we turned for 1 second, and we look back, and she's got her face in it.
Oh,
like this. If she got to toss
you're
the
not
rest
getting
of
that
it.
pie.
Here's another. So her mother's 85 years old, right? Yeah. And it was just me and her in the kitchen, and I got, what the hell did I get? A pastry. I got a big cherry pastry, and I put it on a paper plate, and I walked over and I put it on the table.
Yeah.
And I turned around to walk over and get me some orange juice. And the 85-year-old woman goes, what'd you have on this plate? I said, well, that's my pastry I'm going to eat. And I looked back over, she goes, I said, what did you have on this plate? And I was like, oh, my God. Within that 2 seconds, she had gotten up and gotten that pastry. She's a smart dog.
I love it.
And what were you talking about there a second? What was that story? Dogs.
The adopted
story
dog.
About crying.
Yeah.
Have you seen Scott Rowland's Hall of Fame thing? When he tells his parents, I'll send it to you.
Oh,
he's
really?
in a room.
He got elected to the Hall of Fame?
And both his parents are still alive, and they're elderly. And he comes in the kitchen, and his mother, and all you see is his mother
audio?
from behind. Yeah.
Let's play it. Can we play it?
No, you got to see it. Got to see it.
Right.
It's got to see it. And all you see is his mother from behind, and she stands and looks at him, and he just nods his head and goes, I got in. And she just holds her arms out, and he just hugs her, and that ain't bad enough.
Right now. Yeah.
Then he goes around the corner, and his elderly father is up on a walker or something like that, and he obviously didn't hear, and he looks at him with his eyes like, well, and he goes, yeah, I got in that. And just
Wow,
to
cool.
see the expression
Yeah.
on their face. Oh, my God.
Who is this?
Cool.
Jay
Scott Rowland.
Scott Rowland.
Yeah.
It
and
is-
by the way, and I saw on Twitter, a lot of reaction has been, well, Scott Rowland was a really good player, but I don't see him as a Hall of Famer if Andrew Jones is still not in the Hall of Fame.
That's true, but you look at it by the numbers on WAR, which that's what they
I don't
really
even
love
know
is
what that
WAR,
is
win
anymore, to
above
be honest.
replacement.
I don't know how you. I don't
That's
know
how
what
they
that
can
is.
go back and actually compare Babe Ruth to somebody and compare
But
it to today.
You can't really. I mean, that's
Well, you can with numbers about how you could win without him, and you base it with their time and their
Yeah,
team.
but that affects every other player. Was it having a good day? What's that got to do with you? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm telling you, they got a number for everything.
Well, I know,
I'm
and
not
it-
kidding.
it's-
It's
they're
computerized algorithm. No, it's an algorithm. And I don't agree with the way you judge people with it. I'm just saying they know.
Yeah.
So anyway, they look at it. Scott Rowland is the 10th best third baseman of all time.
Well, see, that's what I know. I had
You
no
know
idea.
who's number one?
No.
By far?
Bob or Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Eddie Matthews.
What about Brooks Robinson?
Brooks is 6th or 7th. The
What?
Chipper's below him. Well, Brooks only hit like 263 for his career, and he didn't hit a lot of homers, but he was a great
He
defensive.
was a Golden Glover.
I know, but it puts everything in there. WAR is everything.
Yeah, I guess.
So
But if you're talking about being a third baseman, I don't think you, as a hitter, I think of being a third baseman. Yeah, play the hot corner
That's true. But
with a great glove guy and a great arm guy.
that's why Schmidt is so far. He's so far ahead of everybody else. It's
yeah,
not
because
even
of his
close.
bat. Yeah.
Because of his bat.
Well, good. I mean, good for him. And again, now do you think Andrew Jones?
Oh, Andrew
deserves- yeah.
belongs in, and so does Dale Murphy.
Dale
and
Murphy
Billy
too.
Wagner.
That's amazing to me.
Billy Wagner belongs in.
Well, they've said it's the anti-Braves bias.
Are they Tris Speaker? Are they Honus Wagner? No.
But
But
how many people are in the Hall of Fame? They should. How many people have heard the name Scott Rowland? Baseball fans.
A lot of baseball fans knew him.
Well, anyway.
I mean, and the thing with him is they put 9 categories up. He wins
Yeah.
5 of them against Dale Murphy, 5 of 4, which shows how
Wow.
close. But here's
Yeah.
the thing: he wins. Rowland wins with WAR, but Dale Murphy had 2 straight MVPs. And what do we always hear?
How do you-
You can't compare now with Babe Ruth. Okay, fine. You can only compare who their contemporaries.
Right. But this compares contemporaries.
Dale Murphy was the most dominant player in the National League 2 straight years. He
Right.
dominated everybody, and that was
Right.
when Mike Schmidt was playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That,
Yeah, I
to
know.
me-
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think just the acknowledgement of that, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Scott Rowland never had an MVP. He never
Yeah.
even came within the top
Yeah.
8 or something.
Anyway, I think it's a shame. This note in history, people talk about having a bad day being raised at the wrong time in history. Sultan Mohammed II, the conqueror as he's known, devised a simple solution in the mid-15th century for the fierce sibling quarrels that had long plagued the succession to the Ottoman throne.
Yes, sir.
Fratricide. Quote, now, maybe you've heard the stories about Cleopatra, for example, when she, back in those days, they would kill their brothers and sisters so they would be, in line to the throne. I mean, we're not making this up. I mean, that was a story of her, but this is a true story here. Quote, this is from Sultan Mahmud, and to whomsoever of my sons the sultanate shall pass, it is fitting that for the order of the world he shall kill his brothers, said Muhammad, he decreed, after having his own infant brother strangled. Nearly a century and a half later, the murderous policy had a particularly devastating effect on Mahmud III's brothers, all 19 of them. When he came to the throne January 27, 1595, the young men, some of them still babies, were ritually strangled with a bowstring and then buried with all beautiful solemnity in the same tomb as their recently deceased father.
Why would you hang around if you're the brother?
I would think so. Well, that's what happened with Cleopatra, the story of Cleopatra.
I'm going to Greece.
I'm going to go over to this area, Rome.
All right.
And she wanted to go to Rome before they killed her. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, supposedly she was good at one thing.
One thing being rolled up in a carpet and sneaky into the old Cowabunga there for a second. Let's see. Anyway, okay, now.
We need to.
I'm sorry? Okay, let's do this. Do you have anything left over?
Just one thing, but don't you have a birthday or something?
I got
you wanted
a
to
couple
throw?
quick birthdays
We
and
should
2
be getting
musical
into
quick
that.
history things, and then we're done.
All right, let's do that.
Bob Uecker
Yeah.
played 300 games in the big leagues. His batting average was 200. Bob Uecker is 88. today. Ellen DeGeneres, who hit on my final wife, tried to make love to her, 65. Wayne Gretzky, the best hockey player ever, maybe?
At this point, yes.
Probably 62. You're Wayne Gretzky, 62. Scott Glenn, remember him from The Right Stuff and a bunch of other things. He's 83 today. Angela Davis, the commie, 79. Vince Carter, and this is what Flounders Guy wrote. Vince Carter, 46, underachieving hoops superstar who retired from the Atlanta Hawks. In his defense, he might have the best dunk of all time.
Underachieving.
That's what the Flounders Guy said. Jerry Sandusky, 79 years old, Penn State pervert who cost Joe Paterno his legacy and career. He can get out of prison. Sandusky can get out of prison in 2042 when he'll be almost 100 years old. Let's see. A quick history note. 1945, Soviet troops break down the walls in Auschwitz, Poland, freeing 7,000 living skeletons from the network of concentration camps. On this day in 1875, George F. Green invented something that was a miracle at the time, but since then has never been improved. The ear-splitting, nerve-shattering, freaking dental drill. You know, my old original dentist back when I was a kid growing up was from Germany, and he didn't even use, we never had Novocaine to get a filling. It would just drill in there with no Novocaine. 1988, the longest running Broadway show in history began its run on this day, The Phantom of the Opera, the Majestic Theater, based on the French novel. Here's what Flounders Guy wrote about this day in 1988. Quote, I blame this kind of crap for Twilight. Because of this show and the movie that followed laid the groundwork for taking a horror classic and repackaging it for chicks. Lon Chaney sobs in his grave. This man does not like
They did that with Wicked, Wizard of Oz. They did that with Wicked, and Wicked's actually fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a great show.
And that's with the girl from the Supremes, wasn't it?
No.
Wizard of Oz, wasn't that?
No.
Who starred in that?
What's that Crystal, what's that Cheneveth or something?
Oh,
she's a little short blonde girl. She's in everything.
Well, I misread everything.
You know the little short
Chenoweth
is her name?
Anyway, Kristen Chenoweth. Okay, that's all good. Thank you, Tom. 1784. Ben Franklin wrote a letter to his daughter, and he was not happy with a new national symbol, but did he really mean it? Here's the truth. After the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence July 4th, 1776, it tasked Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson with the task of designing a seal to represent the new country. Founding fathers never suggested a turkey. Franklin proposed an image of, here's what Ben Franklin wanted for the national symbol, an image of, quote, Moses standing on the shore, extending his hand over the sea, thereby causing the same to overwhelm Pharaoh, who is sitting in an open chariot, along with the motto, rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. That's what Ben Franklin wanted for the motto.
Wow.
The Pharaoh's Moses. Holy smokes. The committee selected the scene from the book of Exodus for the reverse of the seal. So the book of Exodus is a reverse seal of the national symbol. The Continental Congress was not impressed and tabled the concept that Franklin wanted. 1782, then, this is 6 years later, the Great Seal of the United States was a bald eagle as the centerpiece. Franklin proposed that turkey as a national symbol began to circulate later on. In a letter, he panned the eagle and extolled the virtues of the gobbler to his daughter, Sarah. He was not delivering a critique of the Great Seal. He was issuing a critique of the new medal issued by the Society of the Cincinnati, which is an association of continental veterans. For my own part, I wish the bald eagle had not been chosen as representative. It's an eagle. Eagle is a bird of bad moral character, does not get his living honestly because he steals food from the fishing hawk and is too lazy to fish for himself. In other words, Ben Franklin had nothing to do with the symbol of America as a turkey. He was holding something else entirely, just for the record. Now, two more things and I'm done. And you can stop squiggling with yourself. We can now relive history. Flounder, if you would, sir. Democrats saluting their heroes, the one couple they want back in public life more than any other to lead them today toward debauchery and sleaze-comdom. First, 1998, the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, assuring his people he's still their hero.
Oh, let me turn that up.
Here we go.
Here we go.
That's when he lost me, by the way.
Yeah.
This is the exact moment he lost me.
Yeah, we're going to reset the top.
All right, take 3.
There we go. Take 4.
Now it's Bluetooth on this damn thing. Here.
Action.
What we're looking for is where he says, I want to say this one more time, is what should be.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations.
But the point of that soundbite was, first of all, he said, I did not have sexual relation with that woman. When she heard that woman, Miss Lewinsky, she went nuts. That's what changed her into saying, okay, this is too much. But secondly, you notice how it's like if I were to say to you, you accuse me of having sex with a girl and then asking her to lie. And let's say I did have sex with her, and okay, I would say to you, oh, I never had sex with her, and I never told her to lie. In other words, he clearly, what he told her was, what he said that way because what he told Monica was, if you still have the dress or any other evidence like the books I sent you, you have to turn them over. If you still have them in your possession. In other words, he was giving her a way out if she wanted to get rid of evidence and stuff. So it was just freaking sleazebag. Now, here's number 2. That was 1998. 1992, America's favorite first lady, the genteel, gracious, motherly, and also the Democrats' #1 answer when asked, which first lady in history would you like to make love to? Here she is explaining exactly how she feels.
I'm not sitting here as some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. I'm sitting here because I love him, and I respect him, and I honor what he's been through and what we've been through together. And, if that's not enough for people, then heck, don't vote for him.
A good friend.
Did you notice the southern accent?
Yeah.
Is that the same interview where the lights fell on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
God is watching, by the way.
Suddenly, Miss Chicago is a Southerner.
Right, yeah.
She spends 4 years in Arkansas.
Yeah. She's a Chicago, She was born in Chicago. Talking like this, By the way, Bill did admit, I was banging Jennifer Flowers.
By the way, they dolled her up nice. She's actually cute
she
in
looked
that.
attractive, yeah. Well, remember when she had the Pretty in Pink news conference too, and they the Rose Law Records. I don't remember where they came. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, I don't know what else to tell you.
All right. Basically, if you got a bad text ready for us over there?
Bad text,
we're
excellent.
Almost ready for that. All right, the man who took the first up-close photo of a snowflake, Wilson A. Bentley, did it in 1885. He started the concept, no two snowflakes are alike. Took over 5,000 photos of snowflakes. How did he do it? How do you take a photo of a snowflake? It lasts like
landed
that.
on the lens, I guess.
He put something that you could put on black velvet that would hold the snowflake before it melted or did anything else or changed. I don't know how he did it, but then he could take a photo.
By the way, when you think about it, I mean, a snowflake is really a remarkable achievement.
And if you look at that, it's got geometric figures. Everything's geometric.
Well, again, if you have never seen, and as kids we never did until they came out with it, have you never seen the modern version of how to show the solar system, where the planets are actually, and you can actually see it, where they're not, they don't just go like that. I mean, this is a whole thing, and it's all perfectly done.
But what gets me is that the closer you get to a snowflake, you see. The first time I saw a close up of a snowflake, I go, "What is that? That looked like a screw on a bolt that had been painted sloppily with white paint?" And the guy goes, "No, that's a snowflake."
Snowflake, yeah.
It's perfect geometric forms at that level.
You have to believe in nature, in the universe, in the world, that there is a pattern or a.
Would you hear the latest? The iron ball at the center of the Earth that spins, gives us our magnetic theory.
Magnetic
they
field.
say now has not only slowed down and stopped, it's starting to spin the other way. What the hell does that mean?
Rivers are going to go upstream?
Are we going backwards?
God, could we go backwards in time?
No,
How funny would that be?
But maybe that's why we have so many trannies now. Everyone's confused. Why would it stop and then start doing the other way?
Maybe the jet stream would change directions, and maybe the flow of the currents would all be different.
What if we slow our spinning slows.
Or toilets.
Longer days,
or
longer
toilets
nights.
flush counterclockwise.
It's like Australia.
Well, but if it's spinning, you would think.
They'll spit them out.
Okay, but here's the thing: if this iron core is normally spinning all the time, is that what we're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Do we believe? Okay, if it's spinning all the time, but now they're saying they think it's slowing down.
No, they think it's stopped.
Okay, well then we would know it. Therefore, it has no effect.
Maybe it goes for a while. The effect goes.
Well, but I'm saying
like
you
a
would,
gyro.
if it had any effect, you'd know it because it's no longer working.
But I don't know what it does besides the magnetic.
That's the thing. We don't know anything
we don't
about
know
all.
shit.
We
don't know if it's going to rain tomorrow.
Anything.
The same people tell you they can't tell you if it's going to rain tomorrow. Tell you what's going to happen in 100 years.
We don't know anything.
All right, let's mix it up here.
There's a meteor that is the size of
a panel truck. It's
truck,
like 20 foot,
and
30
it's going to pass 2,500 miles.
Yeah, which is the closest.
Yeah, that's
inside our satellites.
Yeah. But they're saying.
So you
got to
wonder do you think the satellites will pick it up?
Even if it did come into us, it would burn. Most of it would burn up in the atmosphere.
Atmosphere
but still,
before it hit
it's a huge meteor. If it hit, it could cause serious damage. Can I do two quick liners? I mentioned before you about this the TV show The MILF Island. I was going to watch it with the mothers and their son show up. It's even creepier than I thought. And when you see young guys, going in make oh god.
Okay, I'm watching TV with my sister and her friend.
Yeah.
Last night we're watching Ghosts. By the way, I got them hooked on
It's
Ghosts.
on tonight.
And MTV has a thing called X on the Beach. And my sister's going,
Didn't see
God,
that.
that's horrible. You see your exes on the beach and it's a whole show based on it. I said, I got a show for you. And they thought I was that I was making it up. MILF Island. I go, I'm not making it up. It's a real show.
Yeah. and they have one of the gimmicks is that they tell there's like 8 guys and 8 women, and all the women's sons are there in the crowd, and they're see who hooks up. One of the gimmicks is that they blindfold the women and they have all the sons take off their shirts, and the woman is supposed to guess by feeling who is her son.
Oh no!
I that's what it is. That's
Let's
stuff
move
like
on.
that.
That's the next thing. Incest is now going to be put out as good.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Mothers and sons talking about hitting on,
breastfeeding at an older age. I mean,
but they're filing. Oh, I like this one, and they're showing. Oh, it's just creepy. Okay, and one other TV thing I mentioned before, I was talking about the interrupters, especially on Fox. Jesse Waters is getting bad. All the girls are horrible. The worst is Neil Cavuto. I'm not watching the show anymore. I hate that man. He's a fake and a phony and a liberal cheater, and he just I can't stand him. Just for okay, that's over there. Also, let me ask you this. One more thing. I swear to God, I noticed this morning when do you drink? You don't drink coffee, do you?
No.
You don't drink coffee.
I drink coffee.
You do coffee. Do you put anything in your coffee?
No, I drink it black.
Yeah, well, then this won't work for you. I have milk and sugar, fake sugar. I have cancer crystals. If it has cancer crystals, the aspartame, I like it. That's what I drink. So I drink the cancer crystals, aspartame, and milk in my coffee. I always stir my coffee counterclockwise. I don't know why.
Well, you think it mixes it up more, but they say it's superstition. If you're stirring something on your oven in a thing, you're supposed to do it clockwise, or it's bad luck.
Well, I do it, and then I do a little thing where I go with a spoon to make the click. I do 3 by mixing it in my coffee mug.
When we were eating the cobbler this morning, the breakfast cobbler, I was eating the blackberries and I go, we're not supposed to eat blackberries after September 29th.
Why?
And the older lady goes, I've never heard that.
I've never heard that.
It's a Catholic thing.
What?
It's Michaelmas, September 29th.
The hell is that?
It's when Michael threw Lucifer down and beat Lucifer. He threw him in a blackberry bush, and Lucifer didn't like the thorn, so he spit on the blackberry. So that's September 29th.
Wow.
So that's why. Anyway.
I do not remember
all right, here we go. We picked on the Polish far enough.
Yes, we did.
Let's do the Jews.
Oh, good. The Jews, the chosen ones.
You know what a Jap is?
A Jewish American princess.
That's right. What's a Jap's idea of perfect sex?
Watching someone else?
Simultaneous headaches. All right, let's see what we're doing here. By the way, if you're not doing anything later tonight and you're listening to Shannon Burke, I'm going to be on at 6 p.m.
Excellent.
Oh, nice.
And how do they get the Shannon Burke show?
I have no idea.
Well,
it's on the internet.
There's an app. Just I think you just Google Shannon Burke
Shannon
show
Burke.
and you get an app.
Are you just chatting with him, or is it?
Isn't it
Talking
Man Radio
sports.
still?
Oh, gotcha.
Just talking sports.
All right, so we're at December 24th.
December 24th. A day that...
It's the two guys talking.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Which one? First guy or second guy?
I will be the second guy.
All right. Want to hear my Batman impression?
Sure.
Oh, no. Kryptonite.
That's Superman.
Thanks, man. I've been practicing.
Oh, that's Superman. Oh, God. Oh, geez.
No. Okay, let's do the...
Don't leave him with that
I
one.
didn't even understand it. All right, let's do the next one. It's
I'm going to
two
go back
guys.
to the Friday night, the rainy day theater if you're not careful.
It's two guys here. First or second?
All right, I'll be the first guy. Why did you choose our company?
Because you are recruiting
What can you bring to the company?
a new employee.
Okay.
All right,
That's
let's
a
do
little
one
weak.
more. Let's do one more. Okay, it's a guy checking in. Yeah, he's at the hotel. He's got a man bun in. And he said, there's a young lady behind the counter.
All right.
So are you the man or the woman?
I'll be the woman.
All right.
All right. Hi, I've forgotten what room I'm in.
No problem, sir. This is called the lobby.
Do you want your porn disabled? I'm on regular porn, you freak.
Bastard. Oh, nice Christmas tree. Are you going to put it up yourself?
No. I put it in the living room, you dumb shit.
You pervert.
Idiot. Oh, boys. Any weekend plans? Of course, Sunday's the last playoff games, right? Isn't
That's
it this
right.
Sunday?
Starts
No,
at
Saturday games. It's
2:30.
Sunday, isn't it?
Actually, real quick.
There's
Sunday.
2 games left, right? Yeah.
So there's this whole Damar Hamlin conspiracy theory
Yeah,
going
did you hear
around.
that?
No, what the hell's going on
He hasn't
now?
shown his face. He's always covered. Every time they show him, he's covered. I think he's either got Bell's palsy, because sometimes you get that paralysis thing. Something's up, because everyone's now saying he's dead.
Yeah, that's again.
So
the-
Josh
You know
Allen
what,
had
the
to come
Buffalo
out.
Bill guy that
Yeah,
had the heart
yeah.
attack and
Josh Allen came out and said, "Hey, that's our buddy, that's our brother. He was in the locker room. Everybody's got to knock that shit off. Come on, quit doing that." But I think something's wrong.
because his skin is. There's one picture where his skin looks a lot lighter.
huh.
What
Well,
would have
who
caused
knows?
that?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but someone had noticed that because it was when he was at the Bills game and he had the red hoodie on, and you couldn't see his face.
He even took a thing to try and disprove this. He took a photo of standing in front of something. You can't see his face. Why would you do that?
I wonder what that's about.
I know. Well, I think maybe he's got some kind of palsy or something from the jab. I don't know.
Wow. Brutal. And 2 more. And and by the way, all 4 quarterbacks are all like 24 years old or so.
And none of them were highly recruited.
Yeah, that's right.
Recruited. Like Mahomes was like a 3-star or something like that. I mean, really.
Josh, remember them talk about Josh Allen? Oh, he's a good quarterback, but he's not going to be.
He's not there.
Well, that's true. Well, yeah, and the guy Purdy from San Francisco, whatever his name is.
He was the last guy chosen.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Insignificant.
Okay, you got Mahomes against Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Burrow had to transfer from Ohio State to LSU just to play.
Yeah, and then the San
And then he
Francisco
won a national
guy.
championship.
It's Purdy, and who are we missing? Eagles. Jalen Hurts
had
had to leave
23
Alabama to
or
go to
something.
Oklahoma, and
Yeah.
everyone says he'll never be a pro.
Yeah. Man, it's not pretty cool.
And they're saying Stetson might be drafted 3rd. Mel Kiper thinks he'll be in the 3rd
Third
round.
overall?
No, 3rd round.
Third, I was going to say. My God. Yeah. Well, I'll bet somebody will take him. I mean, they got nothing to lose.
Why
If
not?
he doesn't make it out of training camp, he won't make it out of training camp. So what? I mean, what?
Well, you're not going to spend a 3rd rounder on a guy's not making it out of.
Well,
training
no,
camp.
but
He'll be
if
a
I were
backup quarterback somewhere.
a general manager of an NFL team, I would definitely take a look at Stetson Bennett just because of the fact of what he's been able to do, especially at that size.
He's a
and
winner.
everything. And he can do it. So I mean,
Egotistical winner,
it's
but-
worth bringing him in. I mean, you're not going to if he doesn't make it out of training camp, then what's the problem? I mean, unless you thought you gave up a greater pick, but by the 3rd or 4th round, I mean, what are the chances of that? You know, they're all iffy after the 2nd.
Just hope the Falcons don't pick you.
Anyway, Flounder, any special events coming up or anything? Weekend?
Nope. Probably go see the niece and nephew tomorrow and hang out with my dad.
There you go. Excellent. All right, boys. Have a great weekend.
If you know of
Yeah,
any
they're
good
gonna
houses
kill me.
out there, hit me
Yeah,
up.
me too, for that matter. I'm always looking to. I'm paying way too much money for my place for the last 10 years. If I could find a little cottage house someplace, man, I would jump. Anyway,
Oh, somebody said that we should. I forget who said that you and I should get a place together.
yeah.
But he says there's probably enough not enough room with all your underwear.
I'll get rid of it. Anyway, hoorah! God bless America. I gotta go. You're killing me, boys. Always a pleasure. Harp, harp, look out, and hoop. Thank you. Good luck, harp.